Texans' 5 biggest takeaways early in camp with a very, very, very special guest, maybe 2. Who knows? There's a lot to get into, including what in the hell is this coming from? It's time to get into the locker room here on YouTube.
Locker room, yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk, yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize, every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too. Landlocked, got the game in the headlock. Localize every time, can't stop, won't stop. Yeah.
All right, it is the locker room, number one source for digital content. I'm Landry Locker. You can see me here Monday through Friday and maybe Saturday and Sunday as well during the season, 7 days a week. Mike Meltzer, he joins me right now. Special guest, Mike Meltzer, here in the locker room. We're going to go through the 5 biggest takeaways. Be sure to subscribe, like, right along. It is a Saturday night, so we're all just kind of hanging out, chilling. Got Meltzy here with me. Look at Meltzer. Look at those books.
What's going on?
Pull that bottom left book. I want to see what that book is. I want to see what you're reading.
Well, I don't even know what's on the bottom left.
Yeah, just go back there and then let me see what that bottom left book is. Let's see that.
What do you define as bottom left?
The bottom left, like right there, the book closest to you. What is it? I just want to see what Mike Meltzer reads. I want to get as smart as you.
Well, one of the most recent ones, which is actually not, it's like.
Go grab it. I want to see it.
All right, I'll show you.
Okay. He's getting a little crazy here.
So this one I've read twice. This is up the audience's alley.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a good book.
Okay.
Yes, this is McConaughey's autobiography.
Okay.
I
got a 6er of Miller with me.
That's fair. I have a couple of decaf coffee with me.
Okay, he's got a coffee with. By the way, I always go to bars with Mike Meltzer, and he asks for coffee. It's really awkward, man.
Not anymore. Not so much anymore. How are you?
So the McConaughey, man, I'm good, man. I'm
Excellent.
really, really, really good. Really, 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 really good. So the Texans, they've started camp. You've covered a lot of training camps. I feel like you follow it close enough to like feel the buzz. What would you even compare this to? Is there any comparison with what the buzz and the feel is with this Texans team as compared to the teams that you've covered at the highest possible level during your tenure?
2012. Now, people may disagree with me about this. I think 2012 had more buzz just because I felt like in 2011, when they went on the winning streak,
larger sample size.
I think that it was the first time I think the city truly fell in love with the team, like in a way that I have not experienced all that much. And that off season was just a giant love fest. And I think because the team was so bad from 2020 through 2022, I think it took people some time to buy in. And so I think like up here, people are like, yes, this could be a really, really good team. And I do think there's obviously a lot of buzz. But what it reminds me of, maybe not to the extent, but it reminds me, Landry, of 2012. Coming into that season, off the playoff berth, getting Matt Shaw back.
Yeah, and I feel like I agree with you, like as far as like the overall hype. And I wasn't here, but I've always like kind of grasped the pulse of things like as much as I can, just like you have. But I feel like here you feel like there's like a long-term thing. I feel like 2012 there might have been more buzz because it might have felt more like the time is now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, what I wonder about, this might be a very weird thing to even ask. Have they sold out every home game this season? Like, does anybody know the answer to that? Like, I'm assuming each game will be a sellout, but that's something that I would love to know the answer to. Whereas, like, back in those days, there was no question. Like, every game is going to be sold out. You know, that was never a doubt. And obviously, you had like the sharp decline around 2020. So these are the things I wonder about.
Yeah, I think that's I think that's very, very very, very well said. What would you say about the Texans and their expectations for this year? Would you lay out expectations? I asked Casario about process over results. He said it doesn't necessarily die. Do you have any like tangible expectations?
I think off the top of my head, if this team did not reach the AFC Championship game or didn't give one of like the 2 or 3 best teams in the conference a big run in the divisional round this year, that would be a disappointment. That's the way I look at it. Last year, I think it was clear there was like a ceiling on this team because, sometimes the defense would be good some weeks. Other times you'd lose to Desmond Ridder and a rookie Bryce Young. So it was never clear like what you had on that side of the ball. And the offense was good, but they never really ran it well. So you knew like there was a ceiling against the very best teams. This year feels like there should be no reason for a ceiling. And I know that progress is not always like linear that way. Sometimes you take a step back, take a step forward. I get that. But looking at this team with what you have offensively, the additions in free agency and otherwise defensively, if this team is not like playing Kansas City, Baltimore, Cincinnati, Buffalo, like hard in the playoffs in the fourth quarter in either the title game or the divisional round, right now, today, that feels like that would be a disappointment if they were not doing that.
Yeah, my whole thing is this, like, and I don't say this based on like trying to adjust expectations based on what they're capable of, but my whole thing is this, and I say this 100 times, and I can already like feel the listeners. And shout out to everyone for coming through. Be sure to subscribe, like, right along. We're gonna have special guests going through. This is an open mic night, if you will. But my whole thing is this: like, if the Houston Texans like would have lost to the Colts last year, then am I supposed to think less of what they can do this year? Like, it almost feels like because you got to the divisional round, you think that the best is yet to come. Yeah. But if the Colts, if that pass is caught and they go into the end zone, am I then supposed to think that the Texans are any worse off? Like they don't even make the playoffs, but you still feel just as good about them. So that's why, like, when I ask Caserio about process over results, I don't think that your process necessarily changes just because of that, and on the other side, like, and I've said this 100 times, if the Titans don't beat the Jags, you go to Buffalo and you lose on a Tuesday or whatever the hell it is. So that's my whole thing with measuring like what you actually expect.
There's a feeling, I think, and it's not just Landry in football. I think it's also in baseball. Like, the first time a team experiences real success, like makes the playoffs, makes a run, the next season, you almost want to like press a fast forward button and like you want to go right to like, okay, it's kickoff and you're in Baltimore and it's the divisional round because you feel like you've like achieved all that, right? It's like a baseball team, like for the first time in like 20 years, you like make the playoffs and then you like win a round, you go to the divisional round or the championship series. You almost wanted that next season, like press a button and like start the playoffs immediately. Cause you're like, we've gone through all this. Like we've proven ourselves, but obviously you have to start from square one. And you make a good point. Like that pass from Minshew to whoever it was, if that pass is not underthrown or it's caught, you're not making the postseason. And then I think we're having a conversation like everyone's still like about as equally optimistic, but because they wouldn't have made the playoffs, I think the feeling would be like, okay, you have to make the playoffs. That's the next step. Whereas now we're looking at this team and you're asking like, should I set the expectations at AFC title game or should it be a little bit less or more just because that play went in your favor? And obviously the Titans game the next day.
Yeah, and like you're ahead of schedule, so it's kind of weird. Like if Caserio, like if you would have gone back to 3 years ago and you would have told Nick Caserio, hey, you're gonna have a team that 3 years into your tenure is like a dark horse Super Bowl favorite. There's gonna be all these high expectations. He would have said, what? Like no one in their right mind would have thought that was realistic. So you've kind of gotten to this point, and I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that there's like Peyton Manning had to wait a long time to win a Super Bowl, yes. Right? Like there's very rare exceptions where you just immediately hit the ground running. And I mean, there's no reason to bet against it, but it's just kind of where you're at right now.
I agree, and I feel optimistic. Like I was on Mad Dog Sports Radio on this Friday, and so it was one of those weeks where like it's Major League Baseball All-Star Week, so it's considered technically to be like the deadest time in sports. I actually think there are a lot of stories to discuss, And I actually led by talking about the Texans, which I have not done in a long time, because I thought, okay,
PTI led off today with the Texans.
Yeah, because I think it's an easy angle to say, all right, who's gonna dethrone Kansas City in the AFC, or who's got the best chance? And I feel the Texans have the best chance to do that today. That is what I believe, based on the coach, the quarterback, all the offseason additions, and I also think, for what it's worth, they don't have any scar tissue yet against Kansas City, unlike Baltimore, and certainly unlike Buffalo.
Yeah, and Baltimore's interesting because I've had people on the stream talk about, Baltimore's a hurdle you have to get over. I don't know about that. Like, Baltimore could easily be a team that misses the playoffs this year, and you don't even really think about. So I don't look at Baltimore as like some sort of big hurdle that you have to overcome. Someone says, but Caserio put his chips like he's ready to win now. Yeah, that's happened a lot. Like the Philadelphia Dream Team. I heard Mark Vandermeer today. They were talking about the possibility of Justin Simmons, and they were like, they were like, oh, well, this feels a little Dream Team-y. And it's like, well, I don't know if they.
Is that a comparison we want?
I mean, yeah, well, that's what they're saying. They're saying that it's a little too Dream Team-y. And my whole thing is,
well, someone's going to sign him. And he's going to go to a team that I would imagine, I don't know for a fact, but
he's a clear upgrade. Like, it's not like you're being crazy.
And I imagine if you're Justin Simmons, you're probably going to want to sign with a team that you think has a chance to win. Yeah. So whoever he signs with, I would imagine would have a decent chance at competing. And I think the secondary is the clear spot where you're like, I'm not so sure about this.
Yeah, my daughter's being a mic hog right now. She's a little nuts.
Hello.
We just won at bingo today. Hey,
oh, that's exciting.
Melty? Look at Melty. That's what a guy looks like that hates kids. He hates.
That's
kids.
Not true.
He hates babies.
That is not true.
Tell him, why do you hate babies? Why do you hate babies? There you go. But yeah, that's my whole thing. We got Texans cap coming in. We got Cody Stutes as well. I'm counting down, Melts, and I'm going to throw these your way. Okay. I'm counting down the top 5 biggest takeaways 2 days into camp.
I like it.
And I know it's always dangerous when you throw takes out at camp. It's like, well, let's not overreact. I'm not overreacting. I'm just
you're reacting
with fluidity, man.
Takeaway
one, Meltsy. I think Diggs is a dude, man. And I don't think he's just a dude. He owns that locker room. They love him. Tank Dell, look into him. Nico Collins, look into him. They're all looking to him. I think wide receiver 1 is Stefan Diggs. I don't think it's going to be a question. I think the most productive guy on this team at the WR position is going to be Stefan Diggs.
I can see it. What I worry about with him, though, is Landry. What happens in those games where you go through a first half and it's, the Nico Collins and Dalton Schultz show? Like, what happens if he's not getting his, whatever fair share of the targets is? Because if you look at that's what I wonder about. And
what's he gonna do? Get mad? Like, I don't think he's gonna get pissed. Did you hear him getting pissed during the Bill season? Like, the only drama we heard about Diggs last year was like before the season started, and he was good early. I didn't hear anything. Like, when he disappeared, I didn't hear anything. All I saw was Buffalo running the ball and winning games and all that type of stuff. Like, his biggest mistake was dropping the rock.
Yeah, he dropped that big pass
in the game against Kansas City. Yeah, dropping the pill.
He also failed. He didn't meet the media after the game, which is a pet peeve of mine.
Yeah, which was pathetic. But
which was a bad job.
My thing is like this: like, we didn't hear him complain. We never heard Stefan Diggs one time complain, like, when he wasn't getting the rock. That they had that awkward ass like preseason.
Yes.
And then early on in the season, he completely freaking smashed, and then he had the other, like, the back end, but we never heard anything. So it's almost made up, because if he catches that pass against the Chiefs, they might beat the Chiefs and we might be singing a different tune.
Oh,
like, it's not like they fell off. So it feels weird. And it feels like, I don't like to say lazy narratives, because that's weird. And it always seems like opportunistic, but I don't feel like he's shown that he's like some sort of slime ball.
I don't know if he's a slime ball. I think, though, it is fair to point out, and I'm going to get to the positive part about this in a second, but Stefan Diggs has played on competitive teams and good teams every year of his career, and he has seemingly been unhappy at the end with both Minnesota and Buffalo. I think it's worth saying. Now, the good thing for the Texans is it's only a one-year deal, as we've discussed for the last couple of months. So he'll be on his best behavior. And I think, and this is not revolutionary analysis, but with CJ and especially with D'Amico as coach, it's hard to imagine him really doing anything destructive here in this locker room with those guys here.
So what did he do destructive in Buffalo?
I don't know that he did anything destructive, but again, the guy, like, he left Minnesota, a good team. He went to Buffalo, an even better team, and he was unhappy in Buffalo.
But I've never heard anyone from Minnesota say that he was a bad dude.
I'm not saying he's a bad guy. That's not what I'm saying. It seemed like he was unhappy.
Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what this is based on. Like, maybe, like, trying to get the right. I don't know. Like, I'm just asking.
One question would be a simple, like, why did he randomly, and again, this doesn't impact the Texans.
No, the preseason stuff was awkward. The preseason,
why did
like,
he
left.
leave? Yeah, why did he leave?
No, that was weird. That was awkward. But in season, he balled out, and then when he didn't ball out, they won. We didn't hear a damn thing about it. And then after the fact, when, oh, by the way, they cut a lot of people because of money, all of a sudden he becomes like some sort of scapegoat. That's my problem. Like, in season, we didn't hear much about Stefan Diggs. That's my problem.
Your points are well taken. Your points are all factual.
What are you, a lawyer?
No, you're saying things that are all correct, and those things I can't disagree with those points. But the additional context is he was unhappy at the end of Minnesota, unhappy in Buffalo, the media thing, the OTAs.
Yeah, that drop against Kansas City. If he doesn't drop that, they win.
Yes, I mean they might be. They might be the Super Bowl.
I mean, even with the field goal.
Yes.
So, like, it's not like it completely, like, unraveled. And that's just what my thing is. Yeah, I mean, Texans cap, my gosh.
Yeah, this was not TO in 2005 or whatever it was.
No, there was no unraveling. That's my whole thing with the Stefan Diggs thing. Cap, we're talking about the top 5 things, biggest takeaways early on. And my first take is I think Stefan Diggs is a dude. I think that the team gravitates towards him, and I feel like he is going to be wide receiver 1. I might be overreacting. It's possible. It's a fluid situation, but I feel like Stefan Diggs is by far and away the best receiver on this team. And I also feel like the narrative against him, it might, like, if you want to talk about the preseason stuff, I talked about it, but that was weird as hell. Like, first McDermott said he left, then he said he didn't, like, then blah, 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 yada, yada. But he balled out. Then he didn't. You never heard crap about it. You just heard that Joe Brady was a good OC. And then all of a sudden, Buffalo, you know this, Cap. They make all these cap decisions. And then all of a sudden, Stefan Diggs, they get rid of him. And it's like, well, he was a cancer. Okay, well, I haven't heard anyone say that. Of course, Cap is muted, man. Look at this guy.
Usually I'm the guy muting myself.
Yeah, look at this.
Guy. There we go.
There you go.
So I think where you hear the cancer thing from is just like any time a fan base gets a player moves on from a fan base, it's just a natural well, he's horrible. Get him out of here, no matter what. I mean, because that just even blew me away when the Buffalo moved him on his cap situation. But when you see him out there in camp, his route running is just stellar. Is unbelievable. Yes,
insane.
It is. Even after 8-9 years in the league, he is still spry as all get out. But you see, like, just every player just gravitates towards him. Like, in between plays, he's over there talking to Nico. He's over there talking to Mechie. Tank Dell's stuck at his hip side. And I mean, it's just everybody just gravitates towards him, and he just exuberates confidence. And I mean, he's just a dude. He's just standing. And then when he's off to the side, taking his gloves off, like, it's very dramatic. He's just like, man, I'm all about all this stuff. And it's just fun to watch all that, because you've never, on this offensive side, you've never really seen that alpha male, and CJ's taken on that role, but Tank Dell is kind of like 1B of that alpha male role on the offensive side of the ball. And it's just really neat to watch and see it break down.
I think it's just weird because, and I asked D'Amico about it today. Like, I just think it's weird that you have a team that's really good, that you feel really good about, and then you have all these guys coming in, and it's like they're adding new elements, and not only like elements like from production, but like leadership. Like, Joe Mixon was a captain. Daniil Hunter was a captain. Al Shire was a captain. Stefan Diggs was a captain. Like you have these dudes coming in and it's like, you feel like, okay, well, CJ and Will know all and everything like that. And they still have like that charisma and that presence, but they're still like soaking in information. And when you actually look at Stefan Diggs and you listen to him talk compared to like Nico and Tank, like it's almost like a man and two boys. And I don't say that disrespectfully, but like you look at Tank,
that's the culmination of being in the years in the league versus
like Tank, CJ, and Will Anderson, like they haven't been able to drink for over 2 years. Like that is how young, like they're very, very young guys. And you see these guys talk, and then you hear Danielle Hunter and you hear Will Anderson and see them, and it's like, man, like this is a crazy ass mix. And I guess Cap, the flexibility kind of allows you to have that kind of balance, like to where you have guys on rookie deals that are producing at a high level, and you can bring in a Danielle Hunter and take on a Stefan Diggs contract.
Yeah, definitely. When you have Tank Dell and Nico Collins, yeah, he's got an extension, but he's still in the rookie part of his contract. And CJ Stroud, which is on a rookie contract, is by far the biggest valuable asset. And Will Anderson on a rookie contract. So you have all these Stingley and Petrie. You just got all these quality players on rookie contracts that allows you to essentially overspend on other spots in the roster. And that's what teams will do when they have all these rookie contracts. And so you take this 3-year window and just take advantage of the best you can. And Caserio did that and then some this offseason.
Yeah. Meltzer, do you think that Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter, you think that's the best DE duo in the league?
Yeah, I was thinking about that because when I had Cody Stutz on my show on Mad Dog tonight, and that's the point that he made, the Hunter Will Anderson combination. Did he steal that from somebody?
Look
or
at
does
you.
that?
Nah,
I'll have you on.
No, I don't want to go on.
What?
Don't volunteer me for that.
I got to think about the other best pass rush combinations. We were talking about the Giants.
Bosa and Mac.
Yeah. So what about the Giants now?
Yeah.
With
Burns and
and Brian Burns.
Yeah, that's not Burns and Thibodeau. It might be better.
It's a pretty good one. Off the top of my head, pretty good one.
Will Anderson did gain 15 pounds, much to the joy of John McClain.
And he's still fast.
That's what he said.
That's what he said. I saw he said that.
I don't know how you judge that.
Well, you guys are out there, so I'm relying on you to have your scouts.
I don't know whether he's fast or not. I don't know. Speaking of Cody Stutz is here. Oh my God!
Quad box.
Look at this effing guy.
I love it.
Lord, is this the Brady Bunch?
Can I do a conspiracy theory about the Stefan Diggs conversation?
Yeah. If
Diggs and Josh Allen had happened in a market that isn't Buffalo, we'd have a clearer understanding of what everything happened.
What does that mean?
I feel like that market protected the quarterback and never let the real story get out. I mean, we had to find out in April that Josh Allen and Stefan Diggs had an argument in week 1 of the season after they lost to the Jets. We found that out in April.
So you think they protected it?
I think that story was underreported and underdeveloped because it's Buffalo. And
but you don't think it was hindsight?
No, I'm telling you that anything that may have happened was underreported and not talked about and not put in a TMZ style context, and everybody in Buffalo just tried to keep it on the low. And ultimately, I feel like Josh Allen, Stefan Diggs squashed it and moved on because both guys will say publicly that they love the other guy.
Yeah, I thought the whole thing was kind of weird. Like after the fact, and it was just one report, really.
I mean,
Allen didn't claim it. McDermott didn't claim it. Like, and the other thing is they cut other guys. Like that's the other thing for me.
Yeah, they were in cap hell. Like,
I'm just as we're doing this, I'm looking at Tim Graham's story from The Athletic on
Who?
April 3rd. Well,
Who?
Tim has covered the Bills forever.
From the what?
From The Athletic.
From the Cabina?
The Athletic. This is what he wrote. Stefan Diggs wore out the Buffalo Bills. For a long time, they put up with the passive-aggressive comments, with the all-pro little brother insulting them and Josh Allen, with other NFL friends proclaiming he deserved better than Buffalo. They endured Diggs' refusal to ever push back on the chirping. When I asked him about Trevon Diggs shoveling shade last season, Stefan took offense that anybody would dare question his family and altogether ignore the concept of defending the Bills. They hadn't said anything when Stefan Diggs dragged a team employee whom a hot mic had caught chiding him for being difficult to work with. That's another one. Remember that? I remember that one. Yes, the microphone.
Yeah, I remember that. The chick or whatever.
Oh, hey, newsflash. These guys don't actually really want to talk to the media as often as they get to talk to the media.
Yeah.
Like,
the team employee, Cody. It's a team employee.
I don't care. I don't care if it's a team employee.
Diggs is only going to be here for 1 year. He's not going to be enough time for him to ruin his thing. He's on a mission on a mission to prove himself to get a new contract elsewhere. So
McDermott doesn't have the juice as a
Are you
head
going to
coach.
make a 9/11 joke, dude?
No, I'm just telling
Nah,
you.
because I feel like you're setting yourself up for 9/11.
Do I get to finish? You're going to interrupt me. I'm just going to tell you that I don't think McDermott.
I'm trying to stop you from doing what you're about to do.
Doesn't
buddy.
say it with his nuts.
I know you. I know you. I'm trying to stop you from doing what you're about to do.
Cody would not do that.
You're about to go Al Qaeda.
I said what I needed to say.
Huh? Go ahead. Keep going.
McDermott.
I said it. If the people didn't hear it because you were talking over me, go
ahead.
That's your problem, not mine.
Is your point, Cody, that the McDermott didn't have full control of the locker room?
He doesn't have nuts, man. Like does that guy feel like he's got juice like all these other head coaches?
Yeah, he's a good coach.
Let's come on, Michael.
Sean McDermott's not a good coach.
Let's go through the AFC's coaches, and you tell me how many guys you'd rather have than Sean McDermott.
Okay.
Did you hear what McDermott said about Diggs the other day?
He's 73-41.
Did you hear what he said about Diggs the other day?
No.
He said the war criminal escaped.
What?
Just kidding.
He did not say that.
That's a fake quote.
He's 73-41 as a coach.
Would you rather Sean McDermott or Andy Reid?
Well, that
what?
Oh, Michael, answer the question. Mike, we're gonna go through the entire AFC. Would you
Andy
rather?
Reid.
Okay, Harbaugh or Reid? Harbaugh or McDermott?
Harbaugh.
McDaniel or McDermott? Come
on,
on,
McDermott.
Come on, Steichen or McDermott?
Oh wow! So you don't like McDaniel?
I like McDaniel. Did McDaniel win the division last year?
Oh, so you like McDermott better than McDaniel?
That's a bad take.
I do. Yes.
Steichen or McDermott?
Steichen.
Ryans or McDermott?
Ryans.
Steichen didn't win the division either, buddy.
He didn't, but he's young. And
he didn't win the division. Oh, McDaniel's not young?
McDaniels is young. I like McDermott over McDaniels.
All right, well, then just don't say did he win the division.
Listen, what happened to Mike McDaniel's team in December and January?
They got hurt.
They folded like a cheap tent.
Their pass rusher's legs exploded.
Whose fault is that?
Not his. Doug Peterson or McDermott?
McDermott.
Okay, well, one guy's got a Super Bowl, so I don't know what we're talking about winning divisions. Zach Taylor or McDermott?
McDermott.
Okay, well, one guy's been to the Super Bowl. I don't know what we're talking about winning divisions.
I'm just going to keep doubling down on this.
Stefanski or McDermott?
Stefanski.
Okay, well, that's finally good. Mike Tomlin or McDermott?
Tomlin, I guess.
Well, the fact that it took you so
I'm
long.
actually not sure about that.
The other Harbaugh that you didn't think about the last time or McDermott?
John, I would take over McDermott.
And you take John and Jim. So we've established there's like 9 coaches you think are better than McDermott in the AFC
that's around
alone. The
around
AFC alone. So now when I tell you that McDermott doesn't have the juice like the rest of the coaches in the AFC, it makes a lot more sense.
I still think he has the juice.
Okay.
He's won 64%.
Way to back down after he just took you through a weird ass exercise, dude. That was weird.
I like that kind of exercise.
All right, so takeaway number 2. I know you do. Takeaway number 2 on the Stefan Diggs thing. This running back group is kind of awkward, and it's very dependent on Dameon Pierce. So we've talked about Dameon Pierce. He was unplayable at the end of last year. He admitted as much. There's a body transformation. There's not much action to replace him. There's talk about his maturity, his understanding of the system, all that. I'll say this, like when you look at this team and you're just watching him early on in camp, you look over at the running backs and you're like, man, I don't feel awesome. Like I feel okay about Mixon, but I really don't feel awesome. Stoots, what's your take on the state of the running back position?
If Dameon Pierce doesn't figure it out and play much better than he did last year, they're in a lot of trouble. I mean, Joe Mixon can carry a lot of the load, but he has to have somebody back him up. And I'm not turning that job over to a rookie in Jawar Jordan, and I'm not turning that job over to a rookie in British books, and I'm not turning that job over to Dare Agumawale. So it's got to be Dameon Pierce. There's not a lot of really good options out there in free agency. I'm sure Leonard Fournette's agent's begging everybody to give him a shot, but I don't want Leonard Fournette anywhere near this team. So it's got to be Dameon Pierce. He's got to be better than he was last year. They're in trouble.
Cap, what do you think about the running back position?
There was a good, I mean, it's just one play and it's not without pads, but there was a good outside zone run with Pierce. And it's the first time since last year that we saw.
I think the most important rookies to watch this.
Oh, my bad.
That we saw the proper footwork from Dameon Pierce, not shuffling his feet, actually putting that right foot in the ground and going upfield. And it was the first time that I've seen that from him in this scheme. So I'm hoping that that's a precursor to something that maybe Pierce finally learned something in the offseason about the zone scheme and being able to make those decisive moves up the field. And that's going to be his path, is be able to learn in this system, let alone special team value, if he can find his way in the kickoff return. And that's a different discussion, but man, it's a dire situation in the running back room once you get past Joe Mixon. And like I'm with Cody. I mean, Pierce is going to have to step up and show himself this year.
I think Brooks is going to be a hero after the Hall of Fame game. Like, people are going to be really high on him.
Big dude.
Big dude.
What about Jawar Jordan? I liked him at Louisville.
Well, I mean, it's funny you mentioned that. I heard this on 610. I was listening to Sean and Seth. I kind of heard this on 610. I was kind of like, okay, what's going on?
Are a 4th rounder and a 6th rounder. Cade Stover, tight end. If he can be anything like what we may have gotten a hint at during minicamp.
Stoots, was he good at minicamp? Do you remember that?
Jawar Jordan?
No, Cade Stover. I heard he said Cade Stover was good at minicamp. I did not hear that.
I mean, Cade Stover was there, but there's nothing of note.
All right, let's hear this Jawar Jordan take, though.
Texans are going to be onto something. And then Jawar Jordan, the running back, drafted in the 6th round. They may end up depending on him.
Whoa.
Your lunch break.
Depending on him. Okay. Meltzer, your thoughts on the running back position, depending on Jawar Jordan. Good Lord. That's a promo on the flagship. Jesus.
I don't know about depending.
Depending.
The one move I was not sure about in the offseason was getting Joe Mixon, extending Joe Mixon. Like, if I look at his advanced stats, I look at the yards per carry. Like, I'm okay with it, but it did not inspire me. It is the best way I can put it. Now, the reason why I don't really worry that much about the running back position is I feel like you can get guys even off the scrap heap because it's such a talented.
Oh God,
it's a very. I'm more focused on.
Cap, dude.
Here's what I'm focused on. How's the offensive line going to run block? Because that's been an issue for I feel like it's been 10 years, honestly, but especially the last couple of years. I'm more worried about that than I am the running backs. That's
the 5 guys that are that are probably going to, assuming health holds up, the 5 guys that are going to be starting week 1 we haven't seen yet. And if that holds up, I think the run blocking, especially if Kenyon Green returns, even if he gets back to 50% of what he was a very good run blocker. Drew Scruggs is a very good run blocker. Shaq Mason's is a solid run blocker. And I think if those 5 players are on the field week 1, I think the run blocking is going to be much improved.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, is the offensive, the injuries, I guess I saw on PTI today, they were saying, it's one of the most injured offensive lines of all time, like top 20 or whatever. How good was it to begin with? Like, we have no idea, right? Like,
well, that's we've never seen this 5 together. So
yes,
because I think Scruggs is the starting center. I don't even think it's a question. Like, people were talking about,
Patterson?
CJ and Scruggs were staying after practice today, like doing snaps and stuff like that. Like, they drafted Scruggs to be a center. Scruggs is the center for me. Like, I don't even think I actually don't even think he's competing. Like, honestly, I think Kenyon Green's competing. I think Patterson's on the team, and I think Patterson's awesome. But I don't even I don't even think Scruggs is even competing. I think there's 4 offensive line spots set in stone, and it's Titus, it's Shaq, it's Juice, and it's Tunsil. And I don't even think it's a competition. I think Kenyon Green is competing with other guys, and then other guys are competing to be the backup and all that. I don't even think it's a competition.
No, it's locked in, those 4 guys, and then it's Kenyon Green's job to lose if Kendrick Green or Jarrett Patterson jumps up in front of him, and then behind that, the top 8 spots are locked in. Beyond that, I mean, Jarrett Patterson is going to be just end up being fantastic depth at this point across the interior line. So,
he's awesome. Like what he did last year filling in was great, but he's not better than Juice.
No, absolutely not.
And I actually think Juice earned their respect even more, just being able to be hurt and then come in and do his thing. I actually thought Juice earned a lot of respect there.
That was something that it was. I mean, Shaq Mason just he couldn't stop talking about how good they thought Juice Scruggs did, from the injury, hadn't practiced a ton, hadn't played with those guys, and then just right away he's he did a lot better than we were expecting him to do, and that wasn't even the position he's going to end up playing here for the Texans. He played left guard last year. He's going to play center this year, which is the position he's supposed to play.
Yeah, he's going to be nice. I actually don't even think that's a competition. I actually think he's going to be good at it. I think he's going to be really, really good at it. Better than Mike Meltzer's favorite Texan of all time, who he has a customized jersey of, which what a waste of $190, Mike.
Who, Nick Martin?
210 with shipping. Your Nick Martin customized jersey. What an absolute pathetic investment.
I still love when O'Brien was raving about Nick Martin for stealing the equipment out of the weight room during COVID.
I gave that the appropriate attention, by the way.
Oh my God. That was
the best Nick Martin thing ever was when Pro Football Focus had him ranked as the 5th best center in a 4-team division.
I love that. Yes. That was rough.
Man, he was tough, man.
He also was a jerk to the PR staff.
And
what do you mean?
And he sucked on the microphone. He never said anything.
He would complain openly walking to his locker to do media, the rare 4 times a year that people actually wanted to talk to Nick Martin.
That's shocking.
It's gotta suck to be Zach Martin's brother, though.
But why did we get this vastly inferior in every way version of Zach Martin? This guy was supposed to come in and be a plug and play center for 10 years.
Well, Kenyon Green's supposed to be a plug and play guard.
Well,
right?
I blame A&M for that. That's
their
fault.
I don't know that Bill O'Brien knew what he was doing in evaluating offensive linemen.
Hard to argue.
Xavier Su'a-Filo, when his tenure started, and they moved him around to every position.
Versatility.
He never settled in. All the different fill-in guys that they had over the years after they were dealing with Derek Newton going down, Dwayne Brown leaving.
That was fun watching Ryan Khalil play left tackle.
You remember the Brino Giacomini
Matt
years?
Khalil,
Matt
right?
Khalil.
Or Matt Khalil, yeah.
God, dude.
He played all 17 games.
I was talking to Stoots today, and he was kind of arguing with me. I was like, man, Shaq's kind of moving slow. And Stoots was like, oh, what do you mean? He's moving like he's always moved. And I was like, don't ever question my credibility when it comes to realizing how washed up offensive linemen move. Because I said it with Matt Khalil, and don't ever question that. That dude is dead.
You didn't need some sixth sense to know that Matt Khalil wasn't any good at football.
He was the starting left tackle. Did you not hear B.O.B.?
I'm supposed to give you credit for noticing something that a blind person could have noticed.
Dude, I noticed it with Matt Khalil.
That's like you realizing Willie Mays was bad with the
I noticed it with someone else, but I can't even remember. There was another offensive lineman, and it was like, man, this dude's done. He's cooked. It was the last 5 years. I don't remember who it is, but you see them moving between Joes. I'm worried about Shaq.
I feel like that's a misplaced worry.
Yeah,
I'm worried about Shaq.
That's
I'm
fine.
not at all.
I mean, you're throwing worry somewhere where it doesn't need to worry.
Man, what a what a great life for Shaq.
He was quietly a very good offensive guard last year.
He was pretty solid. Was he as good as the?
He was reliable.
Yeah, he's all right. You thought he was really awesome, Cap?
Not
I feel
really
like
awesome.
Shaq
I think
Mason
he
is
was
made for
very.
you.
I think he was very good. Not
By the
very-
way, I
not
was
very
really
awesome.
disappointed. Cap was at practice today, and he didn't get to watch Tommy Townsend
I was
punt. Man,
pissed, man. I wanted to see some hang.
I
time.
was watching Tommy Townsend punt, and I was like, dude, Cap would probably go to the restroom and like lock the door and take lotion with him. Like it was like because Cap will pull out the stopwatch and he'll measure the hang time. He was doing it with Brian Anger. And he was actually
and
pretty
I was
impressed.
right.
You're actually pretty impressed.
I was right on Brian Anger too.
No, you're right. Yeah. But, dude, if you would have watched Townsend punt yesterday, what was that hang time like, Stutz?
I mean, you could have gone and got a soda from the convenience store and come back by the time that thing's landed.
Dude, Townsend is nasty. I was sitting there thinking, man, Cap would have a stiffy watching this. I'm serious, dude. I feel like he's going to be like, they're not going to miss Cam Johnson. We're joking about it though, but like, who was that nerdy ass dude, Ziegler or whatever? What was his name? I hated him so much because it looked like he took like 45 minutes to get ready. He had the towel in the back and like the matching cleats and all that.
Long
What
hair.
was that punter's name against Baltimore?
Ty Ziegler.
God, he sucked.
And he had so much Houston apparel that he would wear in the locker room, and it's all new. Like you can tell it. It's all,
Like he hit up the team store.
like no, not Texan stuff. It was like Rockets and Astros.
Oh,
Like-
okay.
Dude, this guy was such a weasel, man. You could just tell looking at him. And then he punt, and he would try to make it look cool because he jump.
Ty Zentner. Sorry,
Zetner.
What's his Instagram look like? I guarantee you it is like the most like trick shot punting type of bull crap. Remember, because I always joke about this with Weeks. And by the way, Weeks got real weird on me last week. And I'm calling you out, Weeks. I don't even care. Like he was going to come on the stream last week, and then he wasn't. Maybe they had like some stuff going on. Shout out to Amanda and Weeks, but they brought in some nerdy ass deep snapper that was like an Instagram model type dude, and I was like, dude, who is this nerdy ass like weasel? Easterby, I think, was like his biggest fan. He ran like real fast and like did like box jumps and all this, and I was just, dude, I hammered him because I was so pro Weeks. And then Weeks is going to like, hey, man, let me reschedule. Reschedule these nuts, man. Get your ass on the stream back.
So because
on,
you
man.
supported John Weeks 3-4 years ago.
He's my day one, man. That's my homie. He's been on here before.
John's
He's
been
got
on
to
the
get his
team.
ass back on here.
He's been on the team the entire time.
Dude, I slandered that dude, man. I just saw his Instagram. I was disgusted. They're like trying to make poor John Weeks basically like have like a no, he didn't flake on me. I mean, he's busy. He's a busy dude. But I'm just kind of giving him a hard time. But the point I'm bringing up is like they brought in like some sort of like hardo to like beat him out type of thing.
Classic Easterby. What was your third observation?
Third observation. Damn, Melts, you're trying to just keep it rolling, huh?
I'm just, keeping it,
Oh,
keep
there
the
you
trail
go.
on
Mike
tracks.
Meltzer, Mad Dog Radio. Okay, there you go with the bookshelf. Takeaway 3: the secondary is interesting in person. So we talk about the secondary a lot. We talk about cornerback too. We talk about the safeties. Like when you look at it, it's pretty unimpressive. And the safeties, like you look at Jimmy, you look at Petrie, it doesn't make you feel very good. And I heard Mina Kimes and whoever the hell it was talking on PTI today and saying, what could be the weakness for the it was some dude. I don't remember his name. I think he's whatever. I don't know what he does. It was Pablo.
I love
Torre. It was Pauly Torre. Pauly Torre is a dick piece. But anyway, I heard them talking about like what could be the weakness of the Texans, and it was like they went into like the nerd stuff. I think it's the secondary, and when you see it in person, it's really it's all get off the bus factor this early, but it really doesn't look that impressive.
It's going to be, I mean, the pass rush is going to have to really make a dent to make the secondary look a lot better. And it's going to really depend on Stingley staying healthy, which has yet to be proven.
That's tough to depend on.
But I mean, you see, like today, I saw Okudah get burned like 2 or 3 times, and it's just, I'm not sure he makes this roster. And maybe CJ Henderson is CB3 on the outside, and you keep both Brian and King or however it floats out. But Lasser is easily CB2 above CJ Henderson and Jeff Okudah. And Okudah's behind Henderson at this point. And it's a very, very thin position group that you have one guy or 2 guys go down. Next thing you know, you got guys off the street that are covering your number 1 wide receiver on the other side. And that's a scary thought.
Boy, when I think about this, I go back to the draft and I just think about like, so obviously they moved down, they got Diggs and this year out of it. That's a part of it. But also the fact that they just kind of stood there in the second round while other corners went immediately ahead of Lassiter. Like, would they be, and Lassiter doesn't seem like the issue, but I'm a little bit nervous in a way that Cap mentions like, okay, he's definitely CB2. I'm curious, would that be the case with Cooper DeJean or Kool-Aid McKinstry? Are they better talents? I just think that'll be interesting to look at depending on how this season shakes out in 2024.
I think it's going to depend on the front seven. I think the front seven is going to have to make them better. Like that's my whole thing. Like it's going to have to start from the front. And that's really how I kind of look at it. Like regardless of what the ultimate optimistic level of these guys looks like, States.
The practice, when you watch it, like you see the toast on the field in 7-on-7. Like you see the wide receivers up and down the wide receiver depth chart going out there and beating these DBs. And then you put a little pass rush on the field, and the next thing you know, the playing field is far more level. I mean, the first team offense didn't really move the football today, in large part because there was a lot of pass rush from the front seven and specifically from the front four the first day. I mean, the very first play of teams, I mean, Will Anderson ran Blake Fisher behind the quarterback. CJ Stroud steps up, right side of the pocket collapsed on him. And, you don't need to cover if the ends are going to do that a whole bunch. Like it's they have to make their job easier. And it's not, and like we talked about the corners, like the corners are in a precarious position because the safety play may not be very good either. Like Jimmy may not be back there. Eric Murray's not been healthy in his NFL career. MJ Stewart was hurt last year. Kalen Bullock.
Eric Murray might not be back there. Damn, that would suck.
I'm actually more optimistic about safety than corner. Is that weird to you guys?
No, I would agree with that.
Because at least at safety, I think there are a couple of guys who I'm like, they could be good. Petrie could be good. Ward could be solid. And I like the Bullock draft pick in the 3rd round.
And he's more of a single high guy. So I'm curious to see how that works into this system, because last year we saw interchangeable safeties between Ward and Petrie. So I'm curious to see how that works out. He may not see much of the field this year. I don't know, but that'll bear itself out. But I agree, Mike. I feel slightly better about the safety group than I do the cornerback group.
The problem with the like Stingley, it almost feels like because he was so awesome on the back end, you almost forget he missed like a month and a half.
Yeah.
Like and that's, I mean, you saw the elite, but you almost just forget, okay, well, Steven Nelson had to kind of hold it down like for a while.
And they don't have a Steven Nelson.
Would you keep thinking about that? They don't have a Steven Nelson. Yeah.
I mean, there's a Steven Nelson-esque player or two out in free agency. Stephon Gilmore's a name that comes to mind. Like veteran, played a lot of football, get him in here, get him up to speed, put him out there.
Rosario knows him.
And Steven Nelson's not retired. That's I can tell you
that's
that
a
right
lie.
now.
That's a lie.
Yeah, he'll come back as soon as camp's over. Give it about a
Yeah, he's here.
4 or 5 days before.
He's not here, but he's somewhere.
Yeah, about
I
4
feel like
days.
we could.
About a week before the first preseason game, he might sign somewhere.
He's
watch.
playing football.
Yeah.
Mike, pick up that second to the right book.
Oh my god!
In
What
the second, I want to see what you're reading there.
Okay. Well,
I
this
just wanna
next
look
will be a
at Mike's-
promo, basically. But
Mike's
I'll
show.
give you the second one. Hang on.
Yeah, we'll go to 4. We'll go to 4, but I just want to see what this book is from Mike Meltzer. Takeaway 4. I don't even look at CJ that much. And when I say this, it's kind of crazy because the quarterback is the most important thing in football. And you need that. And we've been starving for it for a long time. And CJ is obviously going to be what decides the fate of the squad. When I'm watching practice, I'm not even looking at him. Maybe that means I'm not worried about him. Maybe that means I'm overconfident. But Stutes, as I'm sitting there, I'm just kind of like I feel fine about this. Like I don't even need to watch it. I watched Watson. I watched every play with Watson, and I felt great about Watson. Like we were having Watson versus Mahomes debates and all that type of stuff. Like, but I don't even look at CJ. Maybe that means I'm just really, really comfortable. Maybe that means I'm overconfident. But that's how I am.
I catch small things that are out of place from what we expect him to be, which is really, really good. So like when he's out there and the first throw, like 7-on-7s on the first day, is a laser over the middle of the tank, it's like, oh, okay, well that's what he does. But then it's like, oh, what that pass was a little long to Nico, and that pass was a little long to Noah Brown. And then the one thing that I did see from CJ that is it's part of his growth that his teammates have talked about is they didn't get a first down in the first set of the second team's period. And as he was walking back, and you saw this, Landry, he punted the football. He was mad. And then he went right over the wide receivers and was talking to them.
Man, I don't like him punting, man. I don't want you hitting that ankle. It's kind of tough if you don't know how to punt.
And so they talked about in even OTAs and late in the season and minicamp, like CJ Stroud was very vocal about, hey, practice has got to be, it's got to be top notch. Like, and he's out there calling guys out and explaining when he made a mistake. And that's something that, D'Amico Ryans talked about, like with the confidence, and he can say it a little bit louder this year because he's got the year under his belt. Like that's something that I noticed from that standpoint. But I don't notice the great stuff as much as because it's kind of like, oh, like he can do that. Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, and Dominic asks about the Justin Simmons. Charles Robinson reports that, dude. Come on, man. Like,
when did we start listening to Charles Robinson?
Charles Robinson.
I like Charles Robinson.
Of course you do.
Like him doing what?
I like his reporting.
He's trash. All right, so he's garbage. Back to the CJ thing, Cap.
It was interesting, like just seeing how different he is. Like when they're doing the one-on-ones, and he'll take a snap, throw it out to a wide receiver. Instead of rotating over, he literally looks at Davis Mills and says, "Stay right there. I'm taking another rep. Like, don't come up here." And he's just commanding every single aspect of like from the one-on-ones, and that's back to his comment where like he wants to take control of the offense and all that. I mean, he's just and when he's off the field, everybody's around it, or when he's not playing on the 7-on-7s or the team fight, he's like everybody's right around him. He's dancing with everybody. But that part where he just like looked at Davis and waved him off, like, stand back, don't come up here. I kind of giggled to myself, and I thought that was pretty fun to watch.
You should giggle, and you're drinking a brew, right? Cheers to Cap, man.
Cheers to you, brother.
Stutes, where you at?
I got this.
Oh, okay. What's up, Diet Soda? What's up, Coke Zero?
Hey, don't kick Coke Zero. But no, I mean it's fun to watch the confidence level that CJ has out there. Like he just knows that like I'm the man. Y'all get around me. I will lead y'all where we need to go, and hope that gets where we need to go. So that part was fun to see today.
Melts, do you worry at all about CJ Stroud?
I do not. other than health, which is not have anything to do with like anything that's happened to him, just general quarterback health, I am not worried. No.
Okay.
I'm not worried.
So there we go. Takeaway 4. Do I need to like speed it up, Mike?
No, you're good. No,
you're moderating, like, hey, here we go.
I was wondering if you had forgotten about the list.
Okay.
I was a little worried.
That's where we're at. Okay. So what was that book? Can you read that?
I got a second book. This is a friend of mine wrote this book.
Okay.
This is Pipeline to the Pros. My friend Danny Parkins wrote this with his friend. Danny hosts afternoons on the Score in Chicago. He filled in for Colin Cowherd last week. So
yeah, what was it about? It's about like minor league basketball.
All right, so here's I'll make it very quick. It's basically about this like odd pipeline about like coaches and such who went to like Division III schools, like like Williams and like Middlebury and all those places, who now are like NBA coaches or executives. Rafael Stone, the Rockets GM, has a cameo in the book. It's actually pretty interesting. So I read the whole thing.
Wake up, Cody.
We done? Okay.
It's a little information dense, but I liked it a lot. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I got one more book for y'all. I got this one on my desk.
Jeez, dude. What is that?
Bobby Peters. I'm learning, man. I told myself I wanted to learn a little bit about the run game this year, and
so
that's interesting. Like that's more interesting than Danny Parkins trying to act like he knows better. Like these nerdy,
the complete offensive manual of the 2023 Houston Texans.
Is that an explanation book? Like he has like plays and explanations.
Yeah, like he'll literally go like, all right, outside zone, or inside zone, split zone, and then he'll give like a list of like 12 or 13 plays, like with the timestamps and then he'll say why it worked and why it didn't work. And so I'll basically like read it and then go to the plays, find the list of plays in my all 22 stuff, and then watch the play and then go back and read it again. So it's pretty fun for me.
Wow.
It's a lot of work though.
The biggest problem I have, like Bill Simmons is like one of the best basketball pioneers, but he's like ruined it because guys like Danny Parkins think they can write nerdy ass books like that. Like
anyone can write books.
Like Nick Wright can at least like remake Bill Simmons' list and say, "Oh, the tears of all the best of all time," and like copy him. But that Danny Parkins thing, like, come on, you really think that's a good book? You read it?
I read the whole thing.
There's no way you read that.
I read it. I swear, I read the book.
So
I finished
with all the stress you have and all that type of stuff, you read that.
I'm actually less stressed now. Dude. I was in Mexico at Puerto Vallarta like a month ago, and I finished the book. Swear.
It's definitely what I like to do when I go to Mexico. Is
I like reading on the beach. What do you want from me?
The offensive playbook I can get down with, but wow.
You talk about Alshire at all before I came on?
Nah, we'll get into Alshire, man. I like him a little bit. Yeah, I like Alshire.
Man, he was in Noah Brown's pocket on a deep crossing route. And it was really good to see.
It was good running.
Did he get his hands on the ball today?
No, he did not have magical 2 interceptions according to certain reports.
We'll get to takeaway 5. We'll get to that Alshire.
All right,
I want to touch on this. I'm going in on that.
Yes,
takeaway 5.
Here we go.
The new kickoff is going to be insane. And we kind of got a little bit of a taste of it today. I don't know what this is going to look like roster-wise, because at the beginning I kind of thought, well, Mechie might be kind of fighting an uphill battle because you're going to have to be able to do other things. But then you look at the return team and you see like starters out there covering kicks because it's so much more crucial. And then you see starters returning kicks. And you had Steven Sims, you had Desmond King, you had Damian Pierce, you had Robert Woods, you had Jawar Jordan. Like it is a wild thing. I don't know what this is going to look like roster wise, but I think this is going to be, first of all, I think this is going to turn into the most exciting play in sports, which is crazy because the NFL is already like the king. I think it's going to turn into the most exciting play in sports. I think it's going to be like an insane, like nerdy ass, like roster management, like more in your avenue, Cap. Like, how do you handle this? And I think it's going to be like really interesting to see how the Texans, as we localize it, how they coach it, because you say Frank Ross is a good special teams coach. I don't disagree with you. They're top 3 in DVOA the last 3 years, according to Goose. But he's never coached this. So you can't sit here and say that he's going to be good at it. You have no clue. This is going to be the most crazy thing in the world. This kickoff stuff. Stutes, I'll start with you. Like, what are your overall assessments of this? I think Steven Sims has like a decent chance to make the team. And I actually like at one point I thought Mechie might be fighting an uphill battle because of it. But then when I looked at the coverage team instead of just looking at the return men, I saw a bunch of starters out there, and I was like, okay, well, maybe that actually helps Mechie.
I'm more interested right now in the 9 guys that are on the field with the returner and what you do with them and how you set some things up, because you could have one guy screw up his assignment and all of a sudden you're starting for the 12 or the 10 or the 15. And I got to imagine that the percentages of you getting a touchdown start way back there aren't great, even when you have a really good offense. So I'm very interested to find out who those 9 guys are going to be. And are they the same 9 guys every time? Or are they going to be, a group of guys and they rotate based on like a play that they want to call in that setup? So I'm really intrigued by that. I'm intrigued by the guys who are going to try to be the 10 guys that are going after the kickers as well, because you've got a lot of guys with defensive backgrounds who play on offense. You've got some wide receivers that may just need to be gunners in that situation. So it's the non-return guys are as fascinating of a player as they have ever been when it comes to special.
How do you think Mechie's impacted though? Like, how do you think? Because I've changed it because I'm almost like there's almost a balance.
I would. There's only a handful of guys on this team that aren't going to at least be asked or thought of to play special teams. I think it's Joe Mixon, Dalton Schultz, the quarterbacks, and the offensive linemen. Like
top 3 receivers,
except
Tank.
Well, except Tank, or we saw
Tank goes back there. Yeah.
We saw Nico filled in the ground balls.
That's what's weird too, is that they say that onside kicks are dead, but I actually think they might be more alive, because if you find someone who like a kicker who can just shank stuff, and Cap, you golf, like if you find someone who can just shank stuff, then they could get kind of crazy. And I think that's why we saw Mechie and
it's not
Nico
so much a shank is that they're going to see if kickers can knuckleball it.
Yeah, knuckleball. I'm wrong term.
Yeah, they're going to see if they can knuckleball it and land
it
inside the 20.
Shank is out of bounds. I mean,
right.
like make it like.
Yeah, they're going to
Yeah,
they're going to see. You're going to see this in preseason. I guarantee you're going to see some kickers try to knuckleball it to land it inside the 20, the landing zone, but have enough backspin or weird side spin to where it doesn't get to the end zone.
and that's going to happen, by the way. Like,
and it's a free run. It's a free run for everybody to the ball.
There's going to be some kickers that are insanely good at that.
Yeah, it's good. This is going to be, and to talk about the whole thing, because like you see a lot of the XFL or UFL, whoever started this kickoff part, you see them with a lot of single guys in the back returning. Houston today had 2 guys, and they're literally like crossing and turning into the guy who doesn't catch the ball is turning into a fullback and running it back out, and it's basically turned into a run play. And that's why I think Damian Pierce here has a shot at this, as creating himself more value. But yeah, I'm with you, man. This is like kickoff return. That was like the one thing I wanted to watch today was kickoff return.
Oh, dude,
and see what they did. And if you go to sumersports.com and read an article over there by Sean Say, he like has this huge in-depth article on it about all the different blocking schemes, and you start seeing it's like run schemes with different pullers, shuffle blocks, one-on-one, and it's crazy. And I think we just saw a tidbit of it today, but the preseason, like the one thing I want to see in preseason is kickoff returns.
The next 2 weeks, like because they got the first crack at the Hall of Fame game too, like it is going to be insane. Because Steven Sims is trying to make this team with that. Like there's no, like he is going to die to return this. And then the kickoff, you don't want Fairbairn making tackles. Like, I don't even want him like change. I'm worried about him having to change the way he kicks off with all the soft tissue injuries and stuff. Like just the I don't like, you know how a leg is, like where you're kicking off, like I'm worried about him.
Yeah.
Do you guys wonder when the regular season begins how many teams might just say screw it and have their
Kick
kicker
it out of the end zone and give them the 30.
give
There
them
was
the
a lot of
30
talk about that today. Yeah.
Yes, while they observe what's going on around the league to
That's
kind of
what I would do, honestly. Like that's what I would do. I would just kick it out and say you got it at the 30.
I mean, the 30
is not in his head, whatever.
The 30 is good field position, but I could see teams doing that to be a little bit more conservative.
It's a 5-yard penalty. Like it was 25. Like we're good.
Yeah.
30. Let's not even mess with it because then you can build your roster without fear. Let other people
without fear. I like
it's going to change. Like we have no.
You'll have to return it. Like even if you don't want to cover it, you still got to be able to return it.
Yeah, they can still return it, but they don't have to worry about covering it or anything like that. So we have no we don't know what teams are going to different teams are going to do different things.
Yeah, whoever can I think the first step is going to be who can balloon it, put enough air into the ball, and get it to land at like the 1 or 2 yard line with a ton of air time. That's going to be step one. Step two is the knuckleball. Whoever wants to get ballsy with that. Because you never know which way that ball is going to spin and go. It could go out of bounds.
Cap, the best is if you can bounce it inside the 20 and go into the end zone because then they have to go to the 20.
This is very random. I am so excited to have my dad watch this play because I know there's no way he knows that they changed the rule. And I'm debating, do I text him to let him know first? Or do I just let him watch and then call me and be like, what the hell is this?
Somebody to video your dad.
As hell. Like when they're practicing kick coverage, it is weird as hell. They're lining up 5 yards and they were just using the jugs machine. And it's like, the hell is this?
Yeah, I mean they're throwing balls into the ground. They're throwing them up in the air to dive for. I mean, it was just stuff we've never seen before, and it was just fascinating.
The percentage I think was there was 21% return last year in the NFL, and there was 49% in the XFL.
It's gonna be a very popular play. It's gonna be the sickest play.
Yeah, it's gonna completely change the game. It's gonna be nuts.
Yep.
Really, really, really crazy. Meltzer, I gotta do you got to roll out? I know you
I'm okay. I can hang out for a little bit.
So you're just trying to keep the tempo for what? Just to be an asshole or what?
He's been drinking coffee, so he's good.
No, I thought
I don't know how to drive a show. Okay. Yeah, okay. Man,
I wanted to know what the third thing was.
I'm just sitting here on my
I wanted to know the third observation.
With my friends, and you're trying to increase the urgency. What do you got to do, man?
I'm fine.
You got a fat chick on speed dial?
I'm just chilling.
Come on.
I'm just relaxing at home.
Come on.
Jeez, man. Good Lord.
What's the next point?
So that was the final point. But the next question I want to ask, and this was this had a little bit of attention. So DJ Bieneme of ESPN, he said it, and I've said it before too. I think Indianapolis is getting extremely slept on. They're 3.5 to 1 right now to win the division. DJ Bieneme went on ESPN with Mina Kimes, and he said that he thought the Colts were going to win the division. And my thing is this: I don't think that's crazy. I first of all, I think one of the big advantages the Texans had last year was they had 16 games at noon starts on Sunday. The Colts, they have 13 of those, and their first 10 are actually Sunday at noon games. Texans have 6 primetime games. The Colts' first 10 games are literally Sunday noon starts. They were a drop pass away from ending the Texans season. I don't think it was really that bad of a take for DJ to say that he thought the Colts could win the division. I'll start with Meltzy. Meltzy, do you think that's insane to think that the Colts could win the division?
No, I think it's a reasonable take. There are too many uncertainties for me. The quarterback's health being one, the secondary being the second. And I know you guys are acting like Adonai Mitchell is some version of Randy Moss, but I want to see it. I understand the logic of the pick, but there are a lot of ifs with this team. So quarterback health, secondary are the main ones.
He's Randy Moss, huh?
Randy Moss.
All right.
You and
I'll
Cody
let you
just
get that
Adonai
drive-by in.
Mitchell.
That's cool. No, that's all good. Cap, what do you think about the notion that the Colts could win the AFC South?
I think it's entirely possible. Same with Mike if Anthony Richardson stays healthy, but they have a very good defensive
Does he
line.
have to though? That's the other thing.
Yes,
Well,
he
I mean,
has
they
to.
don't-
Yes.
Yeah, they don't. Their backup quarterback situation's a little bit different this year. So
Joe
Flacco's
Flacco?
not going to be. He's not
Joe
going to be as
Flacco?
good.
no, I mean Christian Harris will be ready to go if Joe Flacco comes into the game. But I mean they have a good offensive line, very good defensive line, very good play caller. I think Steichen is one of the best play callers in the game. So if Richardson stays healthy, I'm going to have some concerns, and it's just going to make for a fantastic competition down the way. I mean, if Jacksonville stays healthy, Indianapolis stays healthy, and Houston stays healthy, it's going to be a stellar competition going down the path, and I'm here for it.
I understand it. It's just too much for me to get there because I didn't believe in Anthony Richardson. I don't believe that he can do the things that he did that were dynamic over the course of an entire season. And I don't believe he can stay healthy. He's a guy that just gets hurt playing football. And he said, I'm not going to change my playing style. Okay, well, you're not going to change your playing style. That's literally how you got hurt in one of the situations where you did get injured. And he's out there telling Pat McAfee, yeah, I'm 99%, and then they won't even let him throw in minicamp. And it's like it's a shoulder injury. It's like a serious shoulder injury. And so I just don't know that he's going to come back with the amount of talent necessary to get it going. I like Steichen, but a year of Flacco is not going to get it done.
It's a big if with Richardson, definitely.
No, and it's a reasonable if. Like I don't like when you talk about the like football before the season, like you can't predict. Like I don't think you should predict injuries like when you're making predictions, but if someone's injury prone, like Stingley, like we can talk about the Texans cornerback group and say, man, we're worried about it because Stingley can't stay healthy. I feel like you deserve like some sort of criticism or skepticism, I should say, when it comes to Richardson. And I don't know why that wasn't even more of a talking point coming into the league.
Well, you were on that the whole time, Landry.
Dude, he hurt himself dancing.
Yep.
Like, I mean, like he literally hurt himself dancing. And Stutz actually asked Damian Pierce the question. Like he hurt himself dancing. Like he literally had to miss a SEC game because he got hurt dancing on a Friday.
Cody, did you like them taking Latu in the first round from UCLA?
Stutz,
Yes.
Stutz loves him.
Okay.
Yes.
Seth hates him. Stutz loves him.
You know,
Interesting.
but
Seth versus Stutz.
well, you know who loves him because he just got brought up he brought him up unprompted in a conversation. Caserio loved him. I mean, he just brought him up randomly, said he's one of the best defensive players in the entire draft, and that he's going to be really good for the Colts. It's like, yeah, you're supposed to say that about the opponent, yada yada. I mean, the thing about Latu is he's got injury history too. Like he's just as likely to be
brought up Ngakoue.
I mean, he had a medical retirement for a little bit.
Latu is just as likely to be defensive rookie of the year as to be done with football in
week
2
2.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then way to cover all your ground there with that slime ball.
I mean, I'm just
It
telling,
is
I'm just
true,
telling you the
though.
history of the guy. He
could die or he could be like the best player of all
he
time.
quit football because
dude.
like, I'm sorry you don't know the history of the player. I'm sorry you don't know the history of the player where he quit football because he had a neck injury, and that was
I already knew that he had the neck injury, and then he went
fell.
back there and did his thing.
That's why everybody's talking about how he's like the most polished pass rusher, and he went at 15, and he fell in the draft because people are worried that after 2 years of football, he might not be able to play football anymore. Like, it's a valid conversation point.
Yeah, but I'm just asking, like, what do you think about him as a pro prospect?
I think he's freaking awesome. I think he's going to be a tough block.
Okay.
He likes the pick.
I
Why does
told
Seth
you-
not, why
I
does
told
Seth not
you
like it? Why does Seth not
Seth
like it?
just said that he kind of plays like someone that's kind of scared to get hurt and just kind of relied on his athleticism.
Interesting.
But yeah, shout out to Seth. I mean, he has good evaluations on that type of thing. So
Most of
little bit
the
different.
draft people said he was the most technically sound pass rusher in the draft. So,
and Chris Ballard was God's gift to football when he got Quentin Nelson and
He was.
Leonard, right?
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know who I'm scared of, and this is kind of adding to to the fear factor of the Texans. Like, so we're talking about the Colts, and I could easily see the Colts win the division. Dude, the Jags front seven's nasty, dude. Like, and I talk a lot of crap about Walker because he's not Aiden Hutchinson, because they obviously made that mistake. If they would have drafted Aiden Hutchinson, I don't even know that I'd feel as good about the Texans, because I would feel really, really. They probably would have gotten a first round pick for Josh Allen if they would have drafted Aiden Hutchinson, and they would probably have like a really good salary cap situation and all that. But the Jags front seven, the Titans, they're whatever. Y'all are cute. Like, that's, I don't even know what y'all are doing. Are y'all rebuilding or going on in like Titans, old Oilers? Y'all are done. But the Jags front seven scares the hell out of me, man. They got good linebackers. They got good D line. They're good.
Yeah, I mean they brought in Eric Armstead on the inside, Walker and Heinz Allen is his new name on the outside. You know, Devin Lloyd
and I'm not scared of him anymore. You can't do the name change thing.
Wow.
I'm not scared of him anymore.
Yeah, because Shaq Leonard started sucking after he changed his name, didn't he?
Yeah, that's fair.
He got hurt.
So,
Dude, that's the best theory that I've heard in a long time.
Yeah, no, their secondary is not very
That's a
good, but their
good
front
theory.
seven is. Their front seven's pretty stout. So.
Damn, Darius Leonard started sucking when he changed his name to Shaq.
Yep.
He also got hurt, but fair.
That's no,
Yeah, I mean-
no, Mike. It's name change. Nothing to do with
His name
Name
changed.
them. The rules.
Cap,
Jaguars-
if you started going by Texans salary, dude, like we'd stop talking about you.
Probably.
Does,
I'd have to delete my account at that point. So
Does Trevor Lawrence have the most pressure on him in the division?
yes.
No.
Who does?
CJ.
Got
Really?
No.
Really?
Trevor got his contract. He's got to live up to it now.
CJ's a bigger star, man. Like CJ,
He's a bigger star,
I
but
feel like-
Trevor
I feel
just
like
got
there's more
paid.
expected from CJ.
But Trevor
You
just
can-
got paid as a top T1 quarterback. He's got more to.
But no one thinks that's real.
Right.
Like,
Nobody
no one-
thinks that, but he's got more to prove to justify that.
You
Contract.
can
But
also make
no one even thinks it's legit, and he's under the radar. There's no like national spot. Like, he has no national presence.
I don't know about that, Landry.
You can also make excuses for him too. You look at the teammates that he's playing with. That offensive line stinks to high heaven.
Drop passes. There's like these
Lot
giant
of drop
compilations of
passes.
drop
Oh
passes.
yeah, in the end zone they dropped
Yeah.
so many opportunities.
They did, yeah, and I know that can be selective, but with him, it did seem to be the case. But yes, I think Lawrence has the most to prove in this, the most pressure.
Why?
On him. Yes,
What's he
because
gotta
of his
prove? Like,
because
do
of
you
his
think it's
pedigree.
real? Like, why would
because
you
of his
believe it? Well, I
number one
think
pick.
if you're gonna set up unrealistic expectations for him just to get off on it, then that's fine. But what do you expect from him?
Well, are you saying, Landry, that like his ceiling is like a Dak Prescott level quarterback, like good but not great?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, why would I not? So
I would not set that ceiling on him right now.
So what is his ceiling?
I think it could be higher. I'm not saying he'll reach it, but I think it could be higher right now.
Okay, I don't. So that's my reason for that. I don't see it.
You just don't see it.
No, I mean he's like he F's up at the worst times. Like, it's not like there's a lot of times he'll make plays and you'll say like, oh, like that was a great play, but he F's up at the wrong time.
If you were them, would you have not given him that contract?
No, you have to. You 100% have to.
Well, okay. All right.
You wouldn't have, Suits?
No, I'd have made him play out the contract and I'd have franchise tagged him.
Cap, what do you think about that?
I'd have kept stringing it along until I knew he was the dude. And I understand for an organization that went through quarterback hell and they lived in quarterback purgatory for so long and they had a top pick just fall apart in their lap. Like, I understand why you wouldn't want to choose the other, but if he's not 100% the guy, like unquestioned, I'm happy to hand him this money. Then why are you doing that?
Yeah, I hate the notion of the cost of doing business, and that's what ends up happening with the quarterback position is you end up paying guys that are top 12, top 15. You end up paying them top T1, and that's just the cost of doing business. But this is one of those situations where I agree with Cody that you didn't have to do it this early. You had 3 years of cost control remaining on that deal. And was the market going to go up? Yeah, of course the market is going to go up on quarterback.
You're thrilled to pay him.
But did it mean that you're going to lose, instead of paying him $55 million APY and $200 million guaranteed? Wait 2 years and you're going to pay him $60 million APY and $250 million guaranteed just to make sure he's your guy? Then that seems like a worthy gamble. And this is one of the times where I just did not see the reasoning to pay him this early. And I feel like the team did it just because they were hedging a bet to say, we're going to sign him early. This deal's going to look fantastic in 2 years because he's going to keep ascending. And it's a big bet. A very big bet. And we just had to wait and see how it plays out.
You would know more than me about this, Cap, but I'm looking at his contract structure, and you're the expert on this. But
we're going structure, dude. He's
Yeah.
one of the
Trevor-
highest paid quarterbacks in the league, dude.
But Trevor's salary cap number, like his cap hit, is not really that high up until
his cash flow sucks ass.
His cap number doesn't really go up much until like 2027 or 2028. Like, you could look this up.
Yeah, they put a lot of money in the back end. I posted a graphic showing the cash flow percentages between him and Burrow and Herbert, and it is sad. Lawrence is like, not until like year 4 is he making cash percentage of his deal that lines up with Burrow and Herbert and the other quarterbacks. Hurts is behind too, but like it from a cash flow, it looks pretty on paper. It's a pretty paper, 55 APY, but when you start digging in and when he's getting his cash compared to the market is way behind.
The one thing I'll say about him, like, and this is like, he's going to give you what you pay. And I'm not saying that it's right, but he's tough. Like, it's not like paying a Watson, you know, like it's not like paying Deshaun Watson, who's going to look out for himself. Like the one thing I'll say about Trevor Lawrence, because I talk trash about him, that's a tough son of a bitch, man.
He's
like,
been healthy.
I don't know that there's too many tougher guys. Like last year, he was obviously hurt, but you're
He's
kind
only
of in
missed
an
a game.
awkward situation where you got to pay him and you got to put a good team around him.
He's only missed one game.
I'd rather pay him 55 than Goff 53.
He got carted off 8 times last year.
Man, I don't know. Goff
just
fits
kidding.
that system pretty damn well. Now, if Ben Johnson leaves,
You
that's
rather
where
pay him than Goff?
that's where I get concerned.
I'd rather pay Lawrence at 55 than Goff at 50.
Oh, easily.
I agree.
I don't know why they paid Goff.
Well, they
They
didn't
don't have any options.
I mean, like, what do you mean? Like, just play
Well,
ball.
I mean,
What do you mean play ball?
what do you
Like,
mean?
play football this year. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean they don't have any options? Like,
Well, they-
play football.
Oh, they were still at a quarterback?
Like, he was under contract. Like, it's not like it was a free agent. Like, what was that?
What are they going to do? Play Hendon Hooker?
No, I mean, they were going to, like, Goff was under contract this year, right?
He was under contract.
Yeah. So
Yes.
what are we doing? What are
Well,
we
at some
doing?
point you got to reward him for they traded for him, and
Reward him for a year?
He's been better than they thought. People
What
gave
are
up
we
on him.
doing, man?
But that's a team that you could argue needed to save a couple of bucks, and by not waiting, because they have other guys that they got to pay. They had to pay Amon-Ra. They had to pay Penei Sewell.
And they did.
And they did. And they did.
And
yeah,
they
but those
did.
players are worth it, and I'm curious to see how the Goff deal works out for them.
I agree. I'm curious too.
Crazy. How's y'all's bedtimes doing? Cap and Melts.
I gotta
I'm
go.
having a good time right now.
I'm not worried about
actually,
Cap.
I actually feel like I got friends over.
Is this Payne and Pendergast? What are we asking me for my time? What are we doing here?
Well, I mean, I'm not holding someone for 40 minutes. Like Payne and Pendergast will have, and I've talked about this with Sean, dude. Like, you go look at the Breakfast Club, they keep Jay-Z for like 40 minutes. They'll keep Casario for like 45. It's like, dude, come on, man. Like he ain't that.
Nah.
Like,
I got
what are we doing? We got
I gotta
JC in
roll.
studio?
I gotta work in the morning, so I gotta roll.
All right, man. There you
Wow.
go. See, bedtime.
Yeah,
There
I
you go.
appreciate it. I appreciate it,
This is
guys.
Texans
Hey,
Cap, dude.
y'all subscribe to Capandtrade.football.
Yeah, there you go.
A lot of stuff coming your way.
Texans Cap legend.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Landry. Cody, Mike, good to see y'all. We'll chat
See ya.
soon.
Good to see you, man. Keep fighting the good fight.
Later.
There you go. There's Texans cap. Mike Meltzer, you hanging out, dude.
Hanging out.
What's wrong with you, dude?
I'm fine.
What? You've been weird today.
I've not been weird today.
Dude,
I'm in a
you feel
good
like
mood
he's been
today.
weird today.
It's a Friday.
He's normal.
Yeah, he's Mike.
So am I
Friday?
being weird?
I mean, no, you're being exactly you.
you
What's that
are
mean?
being you. Yes.
What the hell does
Yes.
that mean, bro?
It means what it means.
What do you?
No,
think?
I mean,
You
elaborate.
should ask the question, what does that mean, a lot for stuff that's pretty easy and apparent.
That's usually something I would do. Ask questions with obvious answers.
The sky's
What does that
blue.
mean?
What does that mean?
No, what does that mean? Elaborate. Meltzer, what kind of hoodie you rocking? You rocking a Michigan
No, this is not a.
99-cent store?
This is not. I got another Michigan shirt. It's I don't know if you like it, but it's incredibly comfortable.
I mean, let me see it. Let me see it.
Let me get it. Hang on. It's actually very close. Hold on.
Mike being a Michigan fan and buying off-brand championship materials, one of the most disgusting.
What is on
He
brand?
acted like
What is
it
the
was
on
like the
brand?
biggest moment of his life, and then he like went like cheap.
Hold on.
He went and bought.
This dude will buy the ugliest chick ever drinks.
That's not. We're talking about his clothes. Come on,
He
now.
can't hear.
All right, here we go. I don't know how this is gonna go, so I don't know if it's like angled right. What do you think of this? Do you like this? Is that good?
That's a Mike Meltzer national championship T-shirt.
Yes.
It's
this is
plain
very
and
comfortable.
dry,
Very comfortable.
just like you can be sometimes.
Very comfy.
That's better than that like faded weirdo stuff that you had the one time we saw it.
I keep on wanting to invite you guys over to my house, but I can't like find an event to.
Mike, how about we're just your friend?
We
and
need an
can host it?
event.
Not that you need an
weird.
event, but I'm worried you're just going to
offensive.
say no.
That's actually kind of offensive, homie. Because I would rather go to your house in a non-event than an event because I know who your friends are. Good God. Your friends might ask D'Amico Ryans for an update on the damn stadium, the hole in the stadium.
The hole in
Weasel.
the roof. You guys can come over whenever. I have more things in the house. It's not quite done, but it's getting there.
Someone says, "Is Landry hammered?" Well, I mean, I don't know if I'm hammered or not. I'm drinking some brew, man. We're chilling on a Friday. It's a damn stream. This isn't like a radio show. It's midnight. The hell does that mean?
Am I allowed to? I have a random sports radio thing for you guys.
Do I ask what does that mean too much, Stutz?
Yes.
Or do you not explain it enough?
No, you don't listen well enough, so you have to ask that question a lot.
Oh wow.
Did you guys see that one of the stations in town had David Culley on this week? Did that happen?
Wait, what?
I saw that one of the stations, not
what? Why?
not 610, had David
Just
Culley.
say the station, bro. I don't work for it. Like, what do you mean? Like, what are you saying?
I saw some photo with like with some 790 guys with David Culley, and it was like it captioned something like "Our old friend David Culley." I gotta find this. I swear I'm not making this up.
Well, there's
Dude, It Sounds Ultimate's asking, like, what does that mean? Like, for real. That wasn't me, Stutz. That's him asking.
he's making fun of you.
No, he's asking you, like, what does that mean?
No, he's making fun of you. He's saying your catchphrase ironically.
I
Mike,
have a lot of catchphrases, sir.
Mike, Adam Schefter used irony wrong in a tweet this week, and I almost corrected him on Twitter, but I decided that would have been a poor public move.
Wait, so what was the David Culley thing?
I saw that 790. Apparently, they sent some people to SEC Media Days, which was in Dallas, right? And so one of the people interviewed David Culley.
If I'm not feeling it, we're not doing it.
I don't think that's a bad approach, but how was it executed? Like,
I don't know.
Execution has to be really good.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. I haven't listened, so I can't comment. I don't know.
Dude, what does that mean? Is he like a popular thing right now?
It's a good existential question.
You know what? You're anti-merch, but that should be a shirt.
Nah, I'm not.
What does that mean? You could have a locker and you could just have the words, what does that mean on the locker?
I haven't earned that merch, my friend. It's never about me, man. Like when I'm on the air, it's not about me. Speaking of which, I got to bring this up, man.
Buddy, it's called The Locker Room. How could it not be about you?
It's the title of the show, Cody.
Yeah, your name's Landry Locker.
So what are you saying? Like the dialogue is not about me. What do you What are you talking about right now?
What does that mean?
No, who cut your hair, bro? Edward Scissorhands?
Yeah, you're not gonna act like this is a bad haircut. It's a good haircut.
You think that's a good haircut?
Yeah, what would you have done with my hair? Why don't you tell me what give me the length and
Mike Meltzer likes it. Hey, you got the Meltzer approval. I'm done. Mike Meltzer has given you the approval. I'm done. I have nothing to say about your you got the approval from this guy. There you go.
The day I give a shit about what you've gotten
the approval.
Did you have some point you wanted to raise, Landry? That you were about
Yes,
to get
I did.
And what was that point?
Stoots, do you want to continue?
Oh, I got nothing to say.
I like Stoots' hair.
I don't give a shit what you think about my haircut. How about that? Huh?
No, it looks good, man.
There's a limited amount that you could do to make the hair not look stupid. So
okay. Yeah, it looks good, dude.
No, it doesn't look good. You just said it looked like shit 3 seconds ago. So now
it looks great, man.
No, screw you. Your haircuts are stupid too.
Let me see. Dude, there's a lot you can do with this. There's a lot, bro.
Yeah, there's not a lot with mine, so I do what I do.
Huh?
I get the same haircut every time.
I'm with Cody. Same haircut.
Okay. Oh, well. Okay. All right. I'm just saying that. Dudes.
I don't care if you like it. I like it, so that's all that matters.
Jacob, appreciate you. Landry Hammered is still better than Lopez. Dude, what are you talking about, bro? Speaking of which, so I got to get to this, and I think this is something that needs to be brought up. And I'm here with Melts and Stoots, and this is me speaking, and they can react however they want to react, but this is like a serious topic. So whenever someone says something about the Texans that you're supposed to hold to a high standard, it gets attention. We talked about DJ Bieniemy talking about the Colts are going to win the division, and we dissected it. We went around the room and we said, okay, could the Colts win the division? Maybe, maybe not. Whenever Skip Bayless, Stephen A. Smith, Colin Cowherd, whenever they say something about the Texans, it gets attention. And we sit there and we say, okay, well, let's talk about what they said. Although I kind of try to avoid the Stephen A. Smith way of thinking. I was on my stream today, and this got brought to my attention. I had no idea because this is an interactive thing, as you all know, and I had no idea what the hell this was, what this is, or anything. And I dug into it, and I feel like this deserves attention. I'll take you back to when I first discovered this. This was at practice today. Someone informed me that someone in the local media had said this, and this is supposed to be someone in a credible position. This is what it looked like earlier today in the locker room.
We'll see. I heard Aziz had a couple of picks. Do you know which QB threw them? I must have missed them. I didn't know that he had interceptions. I haven't seen an interception yet, to be honest with you. So I don't know who saw that. Who said that he had 2 picks? Maybe I thought I was watching all practice. Didn't see that. I know that he was running very well. There was a play where Noah Brown, I think, ran kind of a flag route, and Al-Shaair was step for step with him. He's been running his ass off. I didn't see the interceptions. I don't think that happened. It damn sure didn't happen in teams. So yeah, whoever said that, not sure. Maybe I missed it. I did not notice that. Maybe they saw it. I didn't. Whoever said that Al-Shaair had interceptions, it did not happen. Yeah, Stoots was looking too. No, there hasn't been an interception. There's been a drop.
All right, so I was
Can I interject real quick? I was cooking, listening to you. I had to run over here to like corroborate you saying that, like, Because like if it's just 1-1, like nobody saw anything close to this.
No, and there's a lot of things. And I looked at the Harris 15, and I actually texted Harris, and Harris thought this was hilarious too. And there's other people that think it's hilarious too, that how pathetic this is. And I should have known because I kind of lived it for a long time. But this is, I actually like got the audio sent to me. And the only reason I'm bringing this up, I'm not bringing this up to hate. I'm bringing this up because if Stephen A. Smith, Skip Bayless, Colin Cowherd, anyone that you look at is credible. So I'm trying to I'm trying to treat this as credible. If anyone who you thought was credible said this, you would actually like kind of question them, especially if you were actually watching it. And when it's someone, by the way, it happened to be my old co-host, happened to be John Lopez, who is priding himself on being on the field. We're there. We got you 24/7. We're giving you all the instant analysis and everything going on the field and all that type of stuff. When it happens to be this dude, and he's sitting there and he's priding himself on, I've been in this market for 35 years and I know how to look at this. And he has this type of take that never happened. I'm just trying to respect your credibility.
Yeah,
friend.
let's excuse me. Let's get through driving in. First of all, was my first passing thought about today's training
There
camp.
we go, Astrodome.
And I don't mean to go there, but I'm going there. So I came in from the east side on 610. I didn't think this was possible, but the Astrodome looks worse. It actually looks worse than it ever has. If I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong, but it looks like there's actual like boards and tarps covering up windows now on the south side. I'm like, this is the world's biggest crack house. Like this is the, you know, we're always about everything's bigger in Texas. This is the world's biggest crack house here in Houston. But anyway, back to passing thoughts on training camp here. And you're right, players are walking off the field, etc. You know, we're not getting a lot of good views other than the 11-on-11, which just ended.
Oh, he's about to spit it with you. By the way, thanks for clearing your throat at the start of that too, buddy. And thanks for, we're going back to, come on, man. Let's
of the defense. So I kind of made it a point today to really sort of crane my neck and walk over to that corner.
Crane my neck, man. Oh, wow. My goodness. Let's go back to the start of this. Because I kind of lost my focus. Dude, you're laughing. What do you got to say? Can I go back to the start of this and start and pause or not? Seriously. Yeah. And I'm treating this is not hating. This is credible. This is the flagship, the OG. I've been here for 35 years. I've been covering this team forever. I'm going to crank my neck for you. Like you've seen like all that. Like if Stephen A. Smith did this or Skip back, like any national media type, like we'd get into it, right?
Yes.
We're good, right?
We go out and correct it.
Yeah. So here we go. So let's hear the start of this again. Melch, you good with this or not?
I'm rolling along.
Do you need to go?
I'm rolling.
No, if you want to go, you can go. If you don't want to be a part of this, go.
I will.
Like if you don't want to be a part of it, go, man. Like I don't want your face to be here if you don't want to be a part of it.
I will sit and observe. I will comment when necessary. Keep rolling it.
Sit and observe.
Keep rolling it.
Okay. All right. Here we go. This is OG Observations. 3.5 decades of experience for covering Houston sports.
John Lopez, take it away.
Yeah, let's excuse me. Let's get through.
Gotcha.
Driving in, first of all, was my first passing thought about today's training camp. And I don't mean to go there, but I'm going there.
Okay. Wonder where this is going.
So I came in from the east side on 610. I didn't think this was possible, but the Astrodome looks worse. It actually looks worse than it ever has. If I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong, but it looks like there's actual like boards and tarps covering up windows now on the south side. I'm like, this is the world's biggest crack house.
He's right on this, by the way. I 100% support Lopez on this. I think this is 100% true. Do either of you disagree on this? Like, I think this is true.
He's
Like,
right.
the Astrodome still being up is a joke. It's embarrassing. It's pathetic. It doesn't even look impressive. It's absolute hoarding. And I agree with Lopez on this.
It's
It
the
should have been
fourth
taken
largest
care
city in the
of
country.
a
Can't
long time ago.
get rid of it. Yes.
Yeah,
Get
we
rid
all
of it.
agree on this. So I'm not making fun of him on this. It's just kind of the only thing he's got right now.
Like this is this is the, we're always about everything's bigger in Texas. This is the world's biggest crack house here in Houston.
Good
But
line, honestly.
but anyway, back to passing
Respect.
thoughts on training camp here. And you're right, players are walking off the field, etc. We're not.
By the way, I get this comment from Jose. Locker is drunk and letting it all out. I've said this like since I've been hosting with him. Like, what are you talking about? Like, this is no revised history. This is like if he would have said this on the air, like he would have gotten pushback on it. So no, there's no like anything. This has been the whole thing.
Getting a lot of good views other than the 11 on 11, which just ended, of the defense.
Always getting the good views of the defense. Dudes, are you comfortable right now?
Yeah, keep going.
So I kind of made it a point today to really sort of crane my neck and walk over to that corner.
Crane my neck. I am bending over backwards for the people, even though I probably didn't prep until 9 a.m. when I did my Twitter scroll.
The far corner of where we can go and just watch the defense.
Oh, you watched them.
And they were doing drills. It wasn't during the 11 on 11. It was drills with another quarterback and just sort of going through things.
What does that mean? What does that mean? Like, what was that, Stutes?
I'm not answering for him. I don't know what it means.
So going with drills with another quarterback and kind of going through things, what does that mean?
I don't really ever see Azeez Al-Shire on the field unless CJ Stroud's on the field.
Yeah, what does that mean? So going through drills, and I don't know what that means.
And just sort of going through things. And I think we're going to be, which this isn't breaking news, Adam, but it's just confirmation. I think we're going to be really, really happy with Azeez Al-Shire. Like,
I agree with that.
actually, during the scrimmaging right now, he made an interception. He made another one in the play that I was talking about, which he's not here for interception.
He never made an interception. Like, there hasn't been an interception in team. And I don't know what this drill is. Like, is it a back pedal? Like, throw it to him? I have no idea what he's talking about. And I always, I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, but I've sat there with people and they've listened to my show and they've said, man, I don't think Lopez was watching the same practice as you. And I've sat there and I've agreed with that, but on God, Al-Shire did not make an interception today. That did not happen. Like, it did not happen. I've talked to everyone that Lopez works with, everyone that works with the Texans. Like, that did not happen. And it wasn't even really close to happening. Like, that's what's even crazier. Like, even the Al-Shire play that people talk about with Noah Brown, it sailed over the head of the receiver. So if you're going to sell, and this is Stephen A., like, if Stephen A. Smith and ESPN came to Houston Texans camp and they said, we're going to be on the field, we're going to give you the best coverage and all this. And if Stephen A. Smith said that Azeez Al-Shire had 2 interceptions, I would make fun of his ass because it's not true. So am I going to hold you to the same standard or not? I will, because you're on the flagship and you're at the 50-yard line. It's embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing. It's not surprising for me, but it's embarrassing to hear.
It didn't happen. It was, I mean, and if he
It
caught
didn't
the
happen.
ball in a back pedal drill, that's not an interception. That's a drill.
I was going to ask, was maybe there a drill that there may be some confusion on that front?
No, because he said it was in team too. He said it was a team too. He said it was 2.
Yeah, there was the closest thing to an interception that we've seen in practice so far is Jacob Phillips got hit in the number and just dropped it. He played linebacker when Davis Mills was playing quarterback, and Mills threw it to him and he dropped it. That's the closest thing to an interception in practice.
I have no idea. I have no idea what that is. I mean, that is absolutely insane. Like, and the reality of it is that I'm having to deal with it now because I'm in a different like zone, and I'm kind of in the same zone, but I'm in a different zone. But we have a lot of crossover because me and Lopez worked together for a long time, and I have people come over from him to me and stuff like that, and they like Lopez and they like me, and then that's fine. I have no problem with that, but that is not even like remotely true, and that's always been like a whole like thing for me where I have to elevate and I have to deal with that type of crap. But I mean, that never happened. Like that never, like Alshire did not have an interception, period. Never happened. Meltzer wants to sit there and observe and be a nerd.
I'm just wondering if there was some confusion with a drill. It's all I can think of.
Mike's trying to figure out how it would have happened.
I am trying to.
I'm
thinking through this whole thing. I'm thinking through it. I can't figure it out,
brother.
Mike, do you know what?
It's not hating either. It's like treating you like you have credibility. Like that's the whole thing. Like there might be some who will say, and I'm not gonna like mysteriously say it, but it's like I'm trying to treat you like you have credibility, brother. And it was brought to my attention, which is why I brought it there. Like it's not. That never happened. So what were you watching? Just like the draft thing that I posted, like you said Cade Stover could go first round. Like what the hell? Like, and I'm supposed to make that work. And it worked. I mean, you make it work, but it's just kind of weird.
Yeah.
I have a random question. It's a little off topic. Cody, why did the Texans release Ladarius Henderson?
Because
they drafted him.
Well, he's hurt, and he got released with a non-football injury designation. So I wonder if he got hurt away from the football, and they have a lot of other guards. So
why not put him on IR?
I wonder if he got hurt away from football and that annoyed them.
And that's why. Okay. Fair enough.
So why is no one talking about Christian Harris not being
Big D? I started the show today at 4:20 with it. What are we doing? Nobody talking about it.
Dime said that. He knows.
I started the show with it at 4:20.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about Harris until he misses 4 days in a row.
What you know about that 420?
How much is CJ going to play in the preseason?
1 game.
Is he gonna play in the Hall of Fame game?
1/2. No.
I don't believe so.
No chance. Nobody's playing there. I think Boyle starts.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see like 4 drives of Stroud. 1 in Pittsburgh and then 3 against New York, and then that's it.
Yeah, I think Boyle starts the Hall of Fame. I think Boyle might go all the way in the Hall of Fame.
He's going to play the whole game in front of the Nash.
Going to go wire to wire for Hall of Fame?
I think he might.
Well, you got to get Davis some work, right?
Huh? Do you realize I root for a football team?
You don't want to put your backup out there.
Do you realize I root for a football team that actually like started Tim Boyle intentionally?
I don't care, man. Like, what are you doing right now? What
They put him on the field being like, this is a better option than Zach Wilson.
Damn, dude.
Landry, could you throw up Patty's question so I could flex my knowledge a little bit?
Yeah.
He played for Chris Strausser, the offensive line coach in Indianapolis when Strausser was in Indianapolis. So there's a relationship there. And I like that history.
Stutes gets so ridiculous about this.
He for a long time.
Connection to Indianapolis.
For a long time, Strausser was one of the best offensive line coaches in football.
According to who?
Well, the results in Indianapolis. He built the Great Wall of Indianapolis.
Wait, is that a wall that has been referred to that way?
Is that the Cowboys 90s? Like,
I'm sorry.
I mean, my God, like the The Great Wall of Indianapolis?
I'm using hyperbole
That's
there
the
a little
first
bit.
I've heard of that.
Hold on.
The
now.
Great Wall
Hold on
of
now.
Indianapolis.
All right,
Holy
when you're done joking, you tell me when it's my turn to talk, and I'll
go ahead, dude. Go ahead.
Okay,
You don't have to wait for your turn.
Well, you're just going to talk over me, so it's no use in me talking. So
Okay.
they had
Hey, Lopez, tell me how
they had a rotating cast at left tackle. They had a rotating cast at left tackle for a long time. They made it work on the offensive line with a rotating group at left tackle and hurt guys at left tackle. Quentin Nelson, obviously, he's highly invested in. He's one of the best guards in football. Strausser's there when he turns into one of the best guards in football. Ryan Kelly was fantastic there. He's one of the better centers in football. Strausser was there with him. They took Braden Smith in the second round. He started basically right away for them at right tackle as a rookie, and he played really well. Like Strausser was there when they were getting excellent offensive line play in 19, 20, and 21. So, like, you can't tell me that he's doesn't have anything to do with that.
Okay. So that's the Great Wall? Like, that's like, you mentioned it like it was like the...
Obviously, I'm using a little bit of hyperbole, but they had one of the better offensive lines in football for a 3-year stretch.
I just didn't know they had a nickname.
Landry, it's a fucking joke. I don't understand. Like, I'm not sitting here acting like they were the fucking 90s Cowboys and Larry Allen's out there. R.I.P.
I'm saddened by the death of Larry Allen, by the way.
Well, good for you, Mike.
So that was a rough loss.
Dude, you know my, and I'm not kidding. You know my first phone call when I had my baby?
You call Larry Allen?
No. Nate Newton.
Well, what? You called Nate Newton?
He literally called me and talked to me. And I hadn't talked to him in a long time. Nate, it was random as shit. I'd had my baby. I said I had it. And the first call I had, and I hadn't talked to him in a long time, was Nate Newton. He follows 23 people on Twitter. I'm one of them. He is like, Nate Newton was like my dog, like in like a weird way. But he called me and I was like, what the hell is that?
Did he give you fatherly advice?
Dude, he was very quick. It was like a minute. And he was like, hey, Landry, I just saw that you had a baby. God bless you, man. I haven't talked to you in a long time, man. So appreciate you, bro. Like blah blah blah. And then just like kind of dipped out.
I thought he called you to like provide you with like 3 like magical tips on having a child.
Brother, what? You think he's gonna give me fatherly advice? Come on, man. His wife's running the kids.
Either way.
And they said, dude, man. Stoots, you're mad, man. Why are you so edgy?
I'm perfectly fine over here.
Mel, does he look upset?
I think Cody's fine.
Upset.
That's my sense. That's my sense.
He's trying to have a good time with y'all.
I just can't believe you take the Great Wall of Indianapolis serious.
I mean, I think that was weird. I mean,
you
acted like he built something insane.
Landry, he was a part. I'm not rehashing this with you.
You act like it was like
they were one of the best offensive
building the Chicago Bulls, the COVID series or something like that, whatever the hell that was.
See, the people watching, they're getting, this is like truly what it is like.
No, this is us just chilling, man. Yeah. But I just didn't know Stoots thought that highly. You don't think Andrew Luck was?
That wasn't even the same precise era. Exactly.
No, I don't think Andrew Luck made the offensive line good when he wasn't playing.
What do you mean? What, their peak wasn't when he was there?
No. Because Andrew Luck played behind lousy offensive lines. They got better after he retired.
Yeah, they started investing.
Yes. I miss Andrew Luck.
Why would you not, dude? Like that like what would have happened if he would have never gone down? Like, remember when Lamar Miller tore his ACL and you're like, holy crap. Lamar Miller got hurt, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, Andrew Luck retires. So It's like, who gives a damn about Lamar Miller? That was like, everyone talks about Farrah Fawcett and Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
that was like that on steroids, like as far as a localized POV.
And it's not like he was like, it's not like, I mean, he had the injured year in 17. He was awesome in 18. And then that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. After reading that big expose article about him where he ordered for everybody at restaurants, I liked him a lot less, though.
Yeah, you didn't like him after that article. That was a good piece.
I was fully out on Andrew Luck when he felt like he had to control everybody's lives because he was the quarterback. And I was fully out on that. And I'm out on any of his teammates that allowed him to order for them at the restaurant.
Do you think that they were about to run shit though?
I mean, no, because I don't believe he would have ever stayed healthy. Like the injuries caught up to him. Like I believe that lowered his ceiling because the shoulder injury, it prevented him from playing the way that he wanted to and playing with the confidence. Like if he continued to play, if he toughed out all of the extra around him, I still believe his ceiling was lower because of what he had gone through.
So Devin says this. I didn't know Stutes curse. Can you say like 3 cuss words for me right now?
Do you have a preference?
I mean, like they didn't know you cursed, and dude, how fake are you? Like they don't know you curse. Like are you putting on a front? Is this the OG Cody? Like what are you doing right now? You're not even authentic, man.
I mean, he's got 2 laughing emojis right there behind it. Like, I mean, I curse on my stream. I curse here.
Just give me 3 cuss words, man.
Fuck, shit, biatch. Put a little extra on it for you.
Biatch is not a cuss word, sir. See, you can't even say 3 cuss words. She might be right, man. I'm the one that's fooled.
Which one do you want? I'm not going to sit here and drop a bunch of expletives in the middle of your live stream. Like, you want me to drop the C word? Like, what do you want,
man? Like the C word, like that is trash, man.
Jesus.
By the way, I won bingo today in the neighborhood bingo.
What does that mean?
$40. It was a $20 buy-in. I won $40.
What bingo?
I'm impressed.
First time I've ever won bingo.
What bingo game?
This was just traditional. I didn't win the $200 game.
Or blackout, or what was it?
No, it was just like traditional. 5 across.
5 across.
5 die, I know, whatever.
But
I actually pimped it because I was sitting at the table. There was a mother and her wife. It was the neighborhood. And I was one away. And I coughed. And I said, excuse me. That's me clearing my throat. No lie. I swear to God. I said, that's me clearing my throat to say bingo. And then the next number got called. Bingo. Pimped it.
How's your HOA going?
Oh, I mean, it is what it is. They're just kind of crazy.
Everything's okay.
I mean, they're just kind of crazy.
It is what it is. There's been no further issues.
Nah, they're just kind of crazy.
You're putting
how long were you without power last week, Landry?
A day.
Okay. What about you, Cody? I think we talked about this a little bit. You were a couple days?
Yeah, my place had like 3-4 days, but I was staying at my mom's.
I think I'm like I did not lose power the whole time. I feel guilty about this.
Do you go through like the what's around me that needed power? So why did I keep power conversation when you
a little bit
power?
Like you guys know the area I live in, I think a little bit.
I don't, because I've never been invited to your house.
Okay,
I've never been invited either.
Jerk.
I'll invite you. I'm not like
actually, I got invited one time and I turned down. What happened?
Turn it down. That's true. Landry's been.
What happened?
I'm not. There's no hospital. The only thing I can think of, like my area,
Pluckers and acted foolish.
Yeah, there's a Pluckers close. There are like no trees. Like I have like no yard or anything like that. So I have no.
Wait, where's your Pluckers?
The Pluckers that we went to, the one on Shepherd. I'm pretty close to that.
Damn, you live out there?
What do you mean out there? Near Shepherd.
How can you not grow up, bro? Like you're in the kid part of town, dude. You are a child, homie.
Where do you want me to live? The suburbs? I'm single. What do you want from me?
You're a child, bro.
You want me to live in a cul-de-sac?
You're a child, bro.
The only thing I don't really have no trees around me.
I'm glad I turned that ish down. That's terrible.
You'd like the air. It's quiet.
Damn, bro. Dude, you're you're staying like Washington-ish.
I am pretty close to Washington. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
How old are you?
38.
And staying in Washington doing your thing.
I'm not on Washington. I am 2 streets away.
So you're like, do you
Do
go to
people-
like sorority parties and stuff?
Do people park in front of
Sorority?
your house to go to Washington?
It's funny you asked that. They do park in front of my house, but I don't think it's to go to Washington. But it's very annoying when they park in front of it. That's a whole thing.
You should
Bro.
contact your HOA.
Bro.
I don't have an HOA. I live in the street.
Bro.
I'm a man of the people, Cody. Man of the people.
Dude. You are
Why do you want to like send me out to like suburbia? Like what? Cody doesn't live in suburbia. You're not ripping him.
well, Cody could live there. Like Cody could hang. Like, what are you gonna go do?
I
Are you
want
gonna
to
go buy shots for some co-eds? Are you gonna walk up to like the hottest chicks? Like, let me ask you this: like, if I walk into like if I live where Mike Meltzer is, here's what I'm doing right now. My wife's asleep right there. My baby's asleep right there. But I'm just telling you what I'm doing. And Cody Stutes ain't gonna question this because this is just how I roll. You don't roll like this, Melts. So this is why I'm trying to put you where the F you're trying to go.
Yes.
I don't even know how the stream went this way. It just kind of went this way. I'm walking in the bar and I'm saying, oh, those 3 chicks are over there. Oh, hey, what do y'all want to drink? Oh, okay. Let me get y'all 3 drinks, blah, blah, blah. Y'all want to take some shots? Okay, let's take some shots. Dude, you ain't doing that. Like, what the hell are you doing?
Landry, I have never
You're
in my
not
life,
even walking in.
I have never walked into a bar and bought three women.
So why the hell
like
are you
that.
living by all the bars, brother? Like, if you're gonna live there, like that's what you're doing.
Not really. I live here
Dude.
because I'm close to things.
Dudes.
I'm
Close
10
to
minutes
what?
away from work.
Close to what?
Close to work downtown. You know,
Okay.
I have a neighborhood bar I can walk to. It's a lovely bar. It's not a crazy. It's a nice neighborhood
What's
bar.
you drinking?
You'd like this area. It's quiet.
That's not quiet, brother.
It is quiet here. It's
Nah,
quiet.
there's nothing quiet about that, brother.
It's quiet.
Like, where you're living, that's not quiet. You should live like you should be like in the burbs, bro.
You know what's
I
funny?
feel like Mike needs to find like a 50-year-old divorced chick. Have you ever gone on Match.com? Be honest.
Yeah, but it was years ago. Years ago.
We need to get you a like some sort of like mature dating site.
Let us just run your dating profile for you on one of these sites.
That does not seem like a good idea.
I won't say as much as I usually would. I promise you that. How about that? I've tried to set Mike up a couple times.
Really? Did that happen?
Dudes.
I'm trying to.
I tried to
my
set
brain.
I tried to set
Dude.
Mike up like 3 weeks ago, and he was like, "I'm spoken for."
Dudes. I haven't tried to set Mike up.
Oh yeah, you have.
I'm trying to remember what Cody did. Did that happen 3 weeks ago?
We had a lengthy conversation about it, Michael.
Okay. No, I believe you. I'm now just gonna check my phone.
All right. Well, I'll holler at y'all, man. I appreciate y'all for coming through. It's always fun.
I enjoyed it.
You should enjoy it, man. It's fun.
I did.
But I'm ready for practice tomorrow. I feel like it's going to be a light one.
Will there be an interception tomorrow?
I just can't believe Lopez just like made that up. Actually, I can. Like let's be serious. I can, but
Will there be an interception tomorrow? That's my big question for tomorrow.
well, let me play that one more time, bro.
All right, I'll see you, Landry. It's the stream's
I'll
over.
see you later as well.
Yeah, y'all go through. I'm
Have
just
a good
gonna
night.
I'm gonna reevaluate this.
All right, see you.
I'm gonna
Have a
make
good
sure
one.
this actually happened. All right, I'll holler at y'all later. All right, bye, fellas. Bye, fellas. All right, that's Mike Meltzer, Cody Stutes. They're laughing about it. I'm just really trying to figure this out, dude. So here's my
John Lopez, take it away.
Yeah, let's excuse me, let's get through.
So here's my thing. I've said this before. What does credibility mean to you? Seriously, like, what does credibility mean to you? Because for me, it means a lot. There has never been any time when I've done a radio show where I haven't given everything that I have to inform and entertain. Never. Whether teammates had other things going on, whether they were going to actually give ideas or not, I was going to elevate them. Even the label of the OG, that did not exist before I worked with this dude. And I would push back at times with opinions. I would push back. But I think that's deserved. I think if you're going to go in the trenches and you're going to talk to how many ever people, I feel like that's deserved. But if you're not prepared, and I've laid this out, and you're just flat out making stuff up, and you don't respect the business, then how are you ever going to respect someone who's lived and died for this business? I've lived and died for this business. Me and my dad used to drive around listening to sports radio. When my parents got divorced, my dad would call me and ask me if I heard what so-and-so said. And I would say, yeah, if it reached out enough. I went through a big sports education, sports radio. Some of the best PDs you've ever heard of. Tom Lee, ESPN Dallas. Mark Friedman, formerly of The Ticket. Jeff Catlin of The Ticket. Went to ESPN, went to Cleveland. Andy Roth. Gavin Spittle, shout out to him. Almost worked for him a few times. Vertical teases, horizontal teases, tempo, clock, all that type of stuff. I always respected that. And I brought that here. It's the reason I got hired cross country because of that. We had the number one show in town. And I had to overcome a guy who said that he wanted to show up and keep them fooled. I'll never forget when he literally told someone to their face, and they almost laughed with me, had to keep me held back. He told him, hey, this job is stealing. Stealing. I did a double check. I looked over. He was dead serious. Keep them fooled. Even guys who said that he was great, they said he used to show up 5 minutes before. And I used to give everything I had on that show. Number one show in town. And I'm doing my stream today. And I hear that someone said that someone had an interception that didn't have an interception. And I had to go back and listen to it. And this is what it sounded like.
John Lopez, take it away.
Yeah, let's excuse me, let's get through driving in. First of all, was my first passing thought about today's training camp. And I don't mean to go there, but I'm going there. So I came in from the east side on 610. I didn't think this was possible, but the Astrodome looks worse. It actually looks worse than it ever has. If I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong, but it looks like there's actual boards and tarps covering up windows now on the south side. And I'm like, this is the world's biggest crack house. Like this is the, we're always about everything's bigger in Texas. this is the world's biggest crack house here in Houston. But anyway, back to passing thoughts on training camp here. And you're right, players are walking off the field, etc. You know, we're not getting a lot of good views other than the 11-on-11, which just ended, of the defense. So I kind of made it a point today to really sort of crane my neck and walk.
Crane my neck, man. I'm making effort, man. I kind of made it to point to crane my neck. Like he's almost making it sound. I'm going to make it a point to give some effort for you.
Go over to that corner, the far corner of where we can go and just watch the defense. And they were doing drills. It wasn't during the 11-on-11. It was drills with another quarterback and just sort of going through things. And I think we're going to be, which this isn't breaking news.
Sort of a quarterback and kind of going through things. What does that mean? Like, were they backpedaling and he was throwing them interceptions? Like, what is that? What does that even mean? Like, what?
Adam, but it's just confirmation. I think we're going to be really, really happy with Azeez Al-Shaair. Like, he actually, during the scrimmaging right now, he made an interception.
No, he didn't. There hadn't been an interception. Like, that's literally a lie. And this is literally a guy that is sitting right there. Like, he's sitting at a table. He's sitting at a table watching Texans practice, and he's telling you that a guy made an interception that didn't happen. Go look at John Harris's observations. I'm not going to like throw him under the bus or anything like that. Like, it's like no one saw it. Like, it did not happen. There has not been an interception. And I don't know what this drill is that he's talking about, this mysterious drill. It did not happen.
He made another one in the play that I was talking about, which he's not here for interception.
No, he didn't. So if I'm supposed to treat him like he has credibility, the hell was that? It's weird. It is what it is. I'm just weirded out by it. Derek says he buried him after the first quarter of the season. Here, he did, but I don't care about that. I don't care. Like, opinions can be wrong. He didn't even remember that he had the opinion, though, and that was one of our bigger final arguments. Like, he's terrible, dude. Like, he doesn't even, like, he can't even watch practice and say what happens. It's terrible. And I might be terrible for saying it, or I might not be. It is a locker room. Appreciate y'all for coming through. Subscribe, like, right along. This is a little late night type of thing. So I'll holler at y'all tomorrow. I'll be live at 12:30, less than 12 hours, talking about the Texans. Appreciate y'all for coming through. Just remember, like, credibility, start checking it when it comes to the Texans.
Yeah, we top 2 and we not too plugged in daily digital on YouTube. We got taste for days, opinions to give, we got takeaways. If it's up, then it's up. We number one. You don't need to try your luck. Locker room, yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk, yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too.